did it.
Right.
You did it.
You did it.
You did it. All right.
Oh boy.
How do we do this again? How do we do intros?
How do we do intros?
I don't know.
I don't even know what that is.
All right, we're gonna do an intro. Today's a special day. Cold
Okay.
intro, cold open. So top of the hour at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, we're gonna kick off Build Wars. So here's how this is gonna go down. Right now, Henrik and Brett are 4 minutes late on receiving the actual prompt for what the competition rules are. So let's send that now. We're going to share that with everybody. Tommy.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I sent it. They were 1 minute late. I already sent it.
1 minute late. All right. But the audience hasn't seen it. So let's show everybody what we got in terms of the prompt.
Absolutely.
And then we'll go over the judging criteria. And then we'll also introduce this handsome man, Tom Johnson, not to be confused with Tommy Geoco.
There are two Toms today.
There are two Toms.
All right. We've got a little bit of a setup. I want to call something out here. Well, no, we'll do it later. Here's the challenge. This is a landing page, all right, for an AI robotics company called Pulse Robotics. You bet your ass I used AI for this entire challenge. And these are the rules. 45 minutes to build. 5 minutes to present your build, and then a 15-minute judging where we're going to just choose what we want. We do have judging criteria. You can use any design or dev tools today. We've got Lovable and we've got Webflow. And as someone who's done this before, I would recommend you aim for completeness of individual ideas over trying to complete the whole challenge. 45 minutes is tough. No pre-built templates, but let's get into asset usage. You can use plugins. You obviously can use AI generation tools. You can use UI components. That's 21st.dev, or that's pre-built Webflow components that you manipulate. And I know there's an argument there about when does a component become a template. We're not going to have it. You can't use a full pre-built template. Third-party images are cool. Icons, typefaces, there you go. They just got this brief. All right.
Yep.
We've got two interactions. These are either functional or front end. It's a newsletter sign up, a testimonial carousel, a demo request form, and I'm talking going through the motions of actually submitting, or something that allows you to compare some images to other images, a comparison interaction of sorts. We expect you to pick two of those. And then we provided a bunch of copy, so you don't have to think about the copy. It's pretty nice, right? And this is all for reference. Some images, some image assets, textures and patterns, and some objects. Totally up to the player's discretion if they use these. We did provide a really quick and dirty wireframe. So really, the focus here is tweaking a lot of this. You can go your own direction. Whenever I've had wireframes provide in contests, I just do my own thing. But they do provide like a piece of help. Mm-hmm. That's what we got going on.
So the context here is that we've been going over with Brett and Henrik the rules and the criteria over the past 2 weeks. So they're very up to date on how this will be judged. And we'll show that with everybody here in just a second. And then we'll repeat again at the top of the hour as we go through the actual start of the competition. We just gave them the prompt. So they have 1 hour to think about it, to kind of come up with ideas. There is the imagery that we have prepped for them. They can also right now go and create their own assets or start finding things. So they're allowed to use this hour to kind of prepare, but they cannot come to the competition with anything pre-built or pre-prompted. Meaning it's totally fine if Brett wants to have some ideas about like how he might do something in Webflow or what components he might want to use or which of the interactions he wants to tackle. It's totally fine for Henrik right now to be testing stuff in Lovable and seeing what works and what doesn't work. But they cannot copy paste anything at the start of the competition. We have to see them do it. So what's going to happen, Brett and Henrik will be sharing their screens the entire time. We'll bring them up periodically, one screen at a time, to kind of pop in and see what their process is, see what they're doing. We are monitoring it. So if they copy a prompt or they copy any assets into their project, we have to see them actually navigate to the website, copy it from there, and then paste it in. So they can't have like a scratch pad of prompts or UI components pre-built that they're just, trying to scramble over the next hour to create ahead of time. They have to do it all live. And then lastly, for those of you who don't know, I'm Hunter Hammonds. This is Tommy Geoco. We host this unhinged design show every Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. Today we have Tom Johnson from Base Dash, and Dither Faces joining us. So Tom, I think you're like the perfect third judge for this, because you're living in that world of really high design, but also using a lot of AI tools. That's why we pulled you into this. So I want everybody to know that if you disagree with the outcome of who is the winner or the loser, blame Tom Johnson, not me or Tommy Geoco.
Yeah, you're the designated scapegoat, Tom.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll take it on. Speaking of high design, like I was not expecting this level of polish for like scoring criteria and stuff. I thought it was going to be like a sentence prompt. This is like legit. I got like a Notion document with scoring criteria. You guys have put a lot of work into this. I got to give you some kudos. I am very impressed at the
I have to shout out Adam and Dan from Ray Loom. We never did figure out if I was saying that correctly, Ray Loom or Reloom. Reloom. Okay.
Reloom.
And Josh Lowe, because they set the foundation on the Reloom Design League a couple years ago, which I participated in. Had I not seen some of the way they set some of that up, man, this would have been a lot harder. This is a lot of work. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, you guys had to do all the assets for it. I'm just along for the ride. So yeah.
It is a lot of work. I wanna play this really quickly. Here we go.
Sup, Hunter. I'm not sure if it's too late, but here it is. It is Reloom.
There we go. The official. It is Reloom in the Australian accent and everything. Now we know.
That was clutch. That was clutch.
All right, let's get into this real quick. Make sure I pulled this up for us. So here is the judging criteria, just for everybody that's curious. There are a handful of different categories that amount to a total score of 100 possible points.
You should command plus sign into that.
I should, shouldn't I? So we're looking at a couple of different things. So we're looking at design quality, execution quality, interactive quality, and strategic approach. There are three really important call outs here in our judging criteria. So the first is the technical ambition and the completeness of the solution. So out of the two interactions that they have to choose from, so they've got 4, they got to do 2. Did they complete those actual interactive elements? And then the second is going to be into scope management and feature prioritization. How do they actually take the prompt and the challenge and run with that to create the most complete solution? So those are pretty important pieces for us. We're going to be using this card to score everything. So it's pretty transparent. We're going to have a few minutes dropping into why we're kind of making the decisions we're making in terms of our scores. Lastly, and really important, the audience is going to be able to do a poll on X. We'll share that later once it comes time for the audience vote. The audience vote, I got to be honest with the audience, your vote doesn't really mean who won or who didn't win. That's up to us. But you get the popular vote. You get the popular vote. So we're going to let you all be the general public, make the popular vote. But yeah, it's a real thing. We're doing it. It's going to be great. And we're excited to bring you all on the journey with us here in the next 48 minutes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Tom.
Yeah.
You know why you're the perfect fit for this?
I don't know.
I love this little post you made. Let's see if your AI tool can prompt this into existence. Hey, everyone who knows the original lore of this stream knows I am a Unicorn Studio shill. And you have Tom Johnson to thank for this. Look at this right here. Prompt this into existence.
Someone says they can. I got a comment. And he's like, "Oh, this looks pretty easy." I'm here for it. Like, go ahead and try it. I'm not gonna lie. My current design language is I use the AI tools, and whenever it's bad at, that's my new design language. Like, I want to find the things that it's not good at, or otherwise everyone else can create the same things as I can. And shaders, Like they're not good at shaders. Not yet. Maybe there are some tools out there that are good at it, but it's so much like tuning and feel, and so much just kind of like getting in there and like messing with the parameters and stuff like that. It's just something I don't think AI is going to be good at for a little while. So that's also, it's cool in performance. So that's why we're using it in Base Dash a lot.
So I made a video, and with Base Dash, I mean, your landing page went viral, right? And this thing's beautiful. You were using a lot of unicorn graphics. I'm not seeing them right this minute, though. Maybe that's my Arc or my Arc browser here. My question to you is this. People were saying to me, they're like, WebGL and performance is tough. I played with Unicorn, popped it into a few sites. I have mixed feelings from people I've talked to about how to think of like Lighthouse for speed, but my numbers were really good. What has been your experience with performant WebGL and like some of these sick visuals?
Well, our Lighthouse scores on this site aren't great.
Let's look at it.
Yeah, go ahead and pull it up. I've struggled with this internally for a while. It feels like a Lighthouse score is like strip it down to nothing and then you'll score high. I know that's not true, but it feels like there's so much juice that I want to put on the website. I'm going to have to like make trade-offs. The thing for this website, this first version, and I was actually getting into a little bit of a debate with someone on one of your Instagram posts. I didn't care about super like broad performance for the first version of this website when we were designing it. Actually, I want to shout out Ivan at Reboot Studio. He's the like the brains behind the website. Reboot Studio is excellent to work with. You've shared a couple of their other websites before. They did the what was the airplane one? I'm forgetting the name of it, but they did a really cool one. You shared it. Excellent work. Ivan was amazing to work with. I was just kind of like creative director, and I took, what he made and then made it kind of work based off of a lot of user feedback and stuff like that. And kind of showed him how we did, like how he wanted the unicorn stuff to work. So our performance scores are low. And I was like, do I care about this? The thing I wanted to do is I wanted it to be shared. Like more than anything else, I didn't care about SEO at this point. We had some amazing traffic we were getting from our last site. We destroyed our entire blog. We were getting like a ton of traffic. It wasn't converting for our last product. And so we made the decision. We want this site to be something that people get eyes on, not necessarily so that designers sign up. We're not a designer-centric tool, but I knew that the only way that we were going to get people to sign up for the products is if they shared it in their personal Slack at their company work. Like, well, check out this new website. And then a developer who has the keys to a database comes across it, or a product manager who's like frustrated with their current BI tool. That was the way that we were going to get people to sign up for it. And it worked. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to add up all the impressions we got on it. So like, if I had to choose, do I want to have a website that doesn't have as much juice, but I have a high Lighthouse score, or something that people are sharing and like you're shilling like crazy for some reason, which is really appreciated. Like I would choose that any day, especially for a new launch on a pivot. I want the one that is going to get people to have brand recognition. I want us to kind of put like something in the sand that says like, this is what Base Dash is. This is what we're going to do. And then the next versions, we can make them performant. The next versions, we can make them SEO optimized and Lighthouse score and all that kind of stuff. But this one was way too important for me to say like, I don't want to throw out like, I care about accessibility, but like at a startup, we need to survive. I don't care about accessibility until we grow. So I wanted people to sign up for the product and be able to share it. And we have that like social proof. So I would make that decision 10 times out of 10, given what's happened since our launch.
I'll just comment on that because I wrote an entire course about that line of thinking. I have a lot of that startup experience as well. And accessibility and a lot of these noble goals are great. Mm-hmm. You can't even realize that stuff if you end up dying.
Exactly.
And it's like, how do I serve all these people at scale? Well, you can't serve anybody if you don't exist. So I appreciate hearing another designer say that out loud. Tom Johnson, by the way, my follow of the week, which we probably won't have time to get to too many shout outs, but absolutely. It's because, dude, the thing, like you gave me a demo of Base Dash. I've been working on the UX tool survey. We've been delayed because I've gotten really ambitious with trying to extrapolate all these insights from data spanning back to 2017. And AI's been okay at it. but I've definitely had to bang my head against this. And then there's the question of how, once I actually have the modeling set up through AI and the storytelling there, how do I visualize that and make like data viz? So I love the things you share, because a lot of it is this like high polish new tool stuff that you use, but it's also a lot of data viz in AI. Like the way that Base Dash lets you prompt data viz into existence is really interesting to me. And I don't see a lot of people talking about data viz with AI right now. Like you mentioned to me, Julius.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're a competitor to you. I think you guys are doing different things, but like I didn't know tools like that existed. And that's really interesting to me.
Yes. I mean, there's a ton of them. Almost all the BI tools out there are starting to add AI on. And I mean, before we get people accusing this of being like a sponsored post for Base Dash, like I work there. Of course I want to shill it. Like you guys can stop. But
I naysayed the landing page. Parts of it.
No.
So just to make sure we're not all shilling. Some of it I was like, oh, this is a lot.
I know, and I loved it. All right, so the feedback you gave me, I was like, I've said those same things to myself, but I was just like, ship it. Especially your comments about the typefaces and stuff. I've waffled back and forth on that a number of times, and I just was like, I don't, who
can we change it live?
So okay, yeah, I've almost changed. So we use Spezia extended for it, and I think it's got some character. And the thing I was trying to do for it, I looked through a whole bunch of different stuff. Like Ivan, to his credit, he didn't want this one. He like actually put in what's the Vercel font?
Geist.
He put in Geist, and I was like, I love. It's a good font. Enter is what we use in our interface in our app. But I wanted something with just a little bit of character. I'm not sure if Spezia extended is the right one. Spezia is what we use for our logo type.
Yeah.
And I wanted to carry that through. I wanted something with a little bit of character, just so that it wasn't Geist. It may not be what we stick with. So yeah, I don't know. We're not going to change it live though.
I feel like Geist has no character, but I do like it. You know what I mean? The thing to me, I'll try and say this the way I can, because gentlemen, we got to get into our critical design judging, mode. Here's my thing. This site feels so expansive with the animations and even the product itself. It's this thing to where it's like, hey, I'm going to use natural language and get visualizations back about my data using AI, which is fucking awesome. But then you have this font that almost feels like somebody squished the height of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, those two things don't play together. The idea of like this kind of infinite visualization of my data and the growth of my data, and how I represent that. And then this font that's like shrunk in height. It's like, that feels like a weird pairing to me,
So now that you say that, okay. There's a pretty significant textbook on data visualization. And there's a lot in there about the golden ratio of how to lay out charts and stuff like that, horizontal. So now that you're saying it's squash, I'm like, I'm just inferring to the golden ratio of chart layout, horizontal sizes. That's why it's squished. It's just like an alliteration, it's just calling out to that. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it. We paid for it for our previous site. That's kind of a big deal. It's like, oh yeah, we already got the licenses for it. And I tried to make it a little bit thinner to tie into some of we have really thin strokes in the product. Like everything is 1 pixel or 1.5 pixels. So I wanted to really try to make it so that it was thin, but as soon as I started using super thin fonts, they were like getting lost in the page. So like having that extended weight was a little bit way of keeping that balance there. But yeah, no, I laughed to myself because I was like, yeah, he's the voice inside my head that I was like, no, it's okay. But no, I appreciate it.
Of course, dude. I love it, man. I'm excited for it. I'm really most excited to see the way you guys continue rolling out, the fonts, or not the fonts, excuse me, the visualizations. Because I think it's going to be super cool in terms of like a Geco board, for example, just feels so old, So being able to use something like this that feels more modern, a little bit more crisp, I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah. I'm really stoked for it too, because so I worked at Asurion before Base Dash. I've been at Base Dash a little over 4 years now. Assurion's a big company, lots of people. It's a great place to work. Highly recommend them. But what I realized as I was advancing up the organization is the most powerful people had the data. The people who could articulate the vision and have data behind it were the ones who had the power in the organization. And I learned how to do that. I learned how to be like, hey, I'm gonna like use data to inform my design decision.
I understand.
And I could get them to spend millions of dollars. Like I made this massive spreadsheet when I was first there, comparing like before we had procured Figma. I was the big like zealot for Figma inside of Asurion. And I convinced the organization to move because I had the data behind it that says like, this is actually going to be cheaper for us to do it. We were going to save like 6 figures in licensing costs. And I realized, along that journey, like the person who can get access and articulate the vision backed by data, you can't argue with that person. Unless you have data, contrary. And so that's one of the things that I think gets me excited about building a BI tool is it's about making sure that people who have questions, shout out to Chris. Yeah, Chris is our head of growth at Base Dash. People who have the data and can access it and can answer their questions are going to be able to like push past that like corporate morass. They're the inability to move faster than what you want to do. And have a visual way of telling that story, not just like a spreadsheet and some kind of like export and hopefully making it like, I want to make it so that it's a compelling thing that people want to look at it and they want to share it and they want to show it off in their presentations. Like we had this, I have this design idea of like, I want people to like our charts so much that they just copy and paste it right into their sales deck or their presentation. Like that's to me a definition of success of like, you didn't have to figure it out. It's there. It's good enough for you to present.
I think it's great. Tom, I'm gonna stop you there. That way we don't get into any Base Dash shilling territory.
Sorry.
No, it's all right, man. I love the logic and I agree with you about the data. I want to give just a shout out real quick to chat. And then I also want to talk about this crazy fucking chart over here.
That's crazy.
$186,000 of betting volume on this stupid competition. The funny thing to me, if anybody looked into this Polymarket stuff here, we had somebody come in with a $63,000 bet on Brett. Now, I didn't look at this too deeply. I'm not sure if somebody was just doing some weird polymath, funky stuff here with the market, but let's find this right here. Yeah, 92,550 Webflow at 69 cents, $63,859. And I don't use Polymarket, so I don't know what I'm seeing here, but it looks like the same person potentially sold the same amount. Oh, they sold 92,000 of Lovable. That's what it was. Okay, at 28,000. And they haven't had any volume outside of this, right? Let's see.
This is wild to me.
So hold on. Unless I'm tripping, it looks like somebody's got a $63,000 bet on Brett. Because I don't see, again, my disclosure is that I don't use Polymarket. We'd have to ask Shane, the CEO of Polymarket, how this works. But I see a purchase here for a $63,000 bet on Webflow. I do not see that sold.
Dude, I agree with you, Claude, by the way. I want to make it clear. We are not affiliated with this bet.
Not affiliated.
We are not participating in this bet. It is a spectacle that this thing is up, but this is not us. This is wild to me.
Not us at all. We're gonna go ahead actually and just stop sharing the screen there. But that is fascinating. So this is definitely like the Super Bowl of design events, which is hilarious. I want to dive in because I've been watching chat and man, there's a lot of people in chat that are on Team Lovable here.
Yeah, actually, I want to pull up some of the other polls. So the polls are not consistent. I made one in Lovable just as a quick thing, thought it was appropriate for the moment. And let's look and see what that's at. It looks like we've got in favor of Henrik. Now, this is blocked by IP, but I'm sure someone could quickly write a way to circumvent that, and maybe that happened here. I don't know. But what I will tell you is even on my Instagram poll, there was another 300 or 400 votes there. And let me look and see what that's at real quick. Brett held a poll in Twitter as well. So I think it's really mixed. Do I have the poll up on this one?
Is design becoming an esport?
Hope
Hey, could be.
Some people kind of get, I can't find the poll. It doesn't work on desktop. But some people get a little, I don't know. They're nervous about design and esports mixing. I love this, man.
I love it.
I really enjoy watching other builders. You know, here's the thing. In no reasonable sense of the world, even for people who work in fast-paced environments, is 45 minutes to do something like this natural. And there's no one here has any illusions that that's the case. But I think what that kind of artificial environment does is it forces you to see somebody's process like juiced up. And I think that's really interesting. I think that's cool to see that.
I agree. I think that's going to be great. Let's see. Let's get some shout outs here. We got Brett is going down. Okay. There's one. If he loses, I'm going to set a GoFundMe. Oh, did Ross bet on Henrik? Is that what's happening?
Did we find our $60,000 better?
Yeah, it was Roz. He put the 64K on. No. That Roz he's a AI guy. He would have bet on Henrik. So,
I mean, or would he? I don't know.
I don't know. You never know. Contrarian takes. Time to go wild on Poly Market. Don't do it. We do not advise. Bet responsibly. Yada yada yada. Sell a dev with AI course. You'll make up for it. Oh, that was in response to Ross. All right, cool. Let's see here. Literally esports feel 3 moderators for 2 players. I mean, this is true. There has to be 3 of us. That way there's a tiebreaker vote. That's how these things work.
Yeah.
Renee called me out. Hunter is using Notion. Renee, I want to call out. It's not my Notion. I'm just sharing the screen.
He was using it. He 100% was using it. Renee, good call out. Very perceptive this morning. We're going to need that energy all match.
Yeah, something like that. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Score list is wild. This is so comprehensive. That's what we aim for. We want people to know that there's some good rules here. Ahmed says, so we vote for nothing. You vote for the popular vote. That's what we're doing.
I got a whole scorecard for the popular vote. All right. I made graphics for you.
You did?
I did.
Wow. How many live? 1,500 on X YouTube. We got about 5,000 right now. I'm expecting that when the competition starts, we'll have somewhere to the tune of 20, 25, 30,000. But we got 5,000 right now. We're going to keep cooking here. Let's see if we have any other good comments. Joseph, good morning.
Hey, what's up, Joseph? Framer in the house. Another interesting competition to be had if we want to do that. I think that would be cool to do.
That would be a cool one.
I'm not saying that I've exchanged some DMs with Jordan.
It's happening. You heard it here first.
Clow, I'm voting for the mustache today. No, we never vote for the mustache.
We always vote for the mustache. Hey,
gotta go.
Man, this chat is on fire this morning.
What's up, Webflow fam? There we go. We got a Webflow vote right here. Tom, change the headlines to Geist.
It's not gonna be Geist. Whatever it is, it's not gonna be Geist.
All right, whatever. All right. Sponge. Is this SpongeBob? Is Squidward here too?
I like that.
I think Lovable will be faster, but Brett's design will be better. Okay, so this is the interesting thing here is we had to be really careful in our rules and even the prompt, because I think you're right. Henrik, I don't know what his official title is at Lovable. I think he's marketing, maybe. I fucking hope he's marketing, because if so, the man deserves a raise. All right, Lovable team, you just raised $15 million. Henrik's bringing all these views. He deserves a raise right off the bat. Let's put that out there. But yes, I think Brett is going to come out of the gate with the stronger design, which is why we had to create the interaction challenge, right? So people have to like knock out those 2 interactions. We have to balance things out a little bit between quality of design and speed of being able to implement the design, which I think is really important. I got to tell you guys, I don't know about you, but I'm most excited to see Henrik open up that new visual editor in Lovable, and start configuring things. That to me is going to be a really interesting piece of the process to see.
Yeah, I've messed around with it a bit, and I'm not quite sure I understand how it's supposed to work. So I'm curious to see how someone who like actually was part of building it, or what's his role there?
Henrik is in marketing. Which is another
course.
interesting element to this challenge, because it's not just is Webflow dead, but can a marketer come in and quickly spin this up?
So
right?
you're saying our designer's dead. That's what
Our-
you're saying.
yeah,
No,
hey,
no,
hey,
no. We don't say
be
that. We
negative,
don't say
all
that
right?
here.
We're not
We don't say
negative
that
here.
Tom, listen. I don't know if you tune in weekly, but apparently I'm the negative one, so you can't steal my thunder. Lovable will be faster, but Brett's design will be better. He needs to make creative, unique components because Lovable will use Tailwind and some library. Agreed.
Is that the default library for Lovable? Is it's Tailwind?
Tailwind, yeah. The
Okay.
top left guy has a dope voice. Tommy?
It's the mustache. I told you this.
Yeah.
The mustache, it carries.
Oh my God. Who decides the winner? We do.
Yeah.
Audience decides the popular winner. Are both guys sponsored by Fractal? Negative. No Fractal. Why? Oh, the Fractal North case with the wood panel. Yeah, it's a cool case. Have you seen one of those, Tom?
No, I have. Oh, go.
Which one?
The Fractal North. It's like
He meant which Tom, but you're
Oh,
Tom. I'm Tom.
No.
We'll do
There's
that.
Tommy and there's Tom.
Okay,
So the audience understands.
Fractal.
Tommy.
No, I'm not familiar with Fractal.
Okay, you got to check out Fractal PC cases. They're pretty sick. Marcus asks, which stream is official? All of them individually streaming on X. Yeah, so everything compiles in one place. So you can watch it wherever the hell you want. We see all the comments across the board in one place, so we can kind of get to them
Respond
at
to you.
once.
But
Yeah.
I will say, normally YouTube's the place where most of the chatter happens. Today could be different. We'll see.
Today could be different, but it's happening. Does Lovable CEO know this is happening? Who knows? I would assume so.
Both company CEOs know this is happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get into the weeds there, but yep. Let's see here. I love how there's people in chat here just for the showdown have no idea who the moderators are. You know what? Hopefully they like us. Because at the end of the day, you know how the show goes. Hunter, I know you're friends with Brett, but are you rooting secretly for Lovable? Okay, so
Yeah. What are your takes?
we got to address this real quick. I'm not rooting for anybody. I am really, really bullish on Brett as a quick designer. I think Brett's going to come out of the gate and he's going to do some interesting stuff really, really quick. We'll find out. But I think holistically, I'm most excited about AI tools. I don't necessarily love Lovable. I don't use it myself. I'm more of a cursor guy. I don't really want Lovable making decisions for me about like having to use Veet, for example. And I don't want the limited editing ability that I feel that I have. But I'm impartial. That's why we have such strict judging criteria. So you guys know that we're not swinging it one way or the other. So that's how I tackle it. I got a Webflow to the moon. Super Bowl for designers.
Interesting that Lovable and Webflow both have released some pretty interesting features this week. They seem to really, they seem to time that.
They knew it was happening.
I mean, it was very interesting to see like, oh, Thursday, Webflow AI is released.
I just saw
that was pretty quick.
someone from my college just Enrique. How's it going, Enrique? That's crazy.
Awesome. That is sick.
Webflow launching an AI site builder just yesterday is crazy. Look, here's the question. Okay. Did Webflow do that specifically so it was out ahead of this competition?
For sure.
My money's on yes. Because I feel like Webflow's been getting their ass kicked lately. I feel like Jorn and the Framer crew have been after them. You got Lovable specifically calling out Webflow and not Framer, right? You got comments about like, Lovable can't, or excuse me, Framer, or goddamn, Webflow can't make up their mind whether they're for power users or whether they're for, the everybody like running a bakery, right? So I think it's pretty interesting. I think they shipped it for this competition. Is Brett going to use it? We don't know.
Have you guys messed around with it at all?
Not yet. I haven't had a chance. And Claude 3.7, by the way, also came out since this was announced.
This was all because of this live stream.
And I think we're driving Anthropic maybe. But the real point I'm making about that is that changes things, because product of the week alert, man, there's a couple sick products out there. But I have to give it to Sonnet 3.7 because it has solved some issues with data viz that I was dealing with and other things like that. Like I was having such issues with the UX Tools survey data, and I was trying to do all this other things with it. And I had to keep kind of restarting and go back to previous versions of work. And then I just tried 3.7. I said, here's the situation. And I was going to go step by step with it. And it one-shotted the solution. And I could cry. So 3.7, Claude, product of the week. Easy.
If Brett loses, Webflow goes heavy on the AI marketing. Lovable can't touch Framer on quality. Ooh.
Hey, Tom, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
What was this made in? I'm going to have you guess this. This is where I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Let me pull up the website. Yes.
Flora.
I saw something about this image being from some NFT artists. They did it without permission. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but
they did without permission.
That's what I heard. I thought I saw the author was like, "Whoa, this isn't something I asked for." Anyway, I don't know if that's true. So maybe someone needs to tell me I'm full of it. But what was that made in? Rive.
You think this is Rive?
Well, okay. So the weird thing is that middle line, that little middle one, and they all have the same duration. The middle one is stretched. So I'm guessing those, it's not animated SVG or else it would maintain the stroke. That looks like maybe not Rive. I don't know. Maybe After Effects.
Do you know how sick it would be to have something similar like this in Base Dash? Sorry, talking about Base Dash, but like but genuinely like connecting databases for data viz like this would be really interesting.
I have some concepts.
Hey.
Yeah, we there was an initial idea I had where there was something like this, but the thing I think we all realized like we needed to kind of go more traditional to start with, and then we could branch out to be more abstract. Otherwise, it'd be just a little bit too like we have to learn a whole new UI for everything. So there may be something like that in the future, but I don't know. But yeah, the only thing that bothers me about that page is that center, that little line, it gets skewed in the middle. It's too small.
Where?
That one right in the middle there, the center pulse line.
This one. Yeah.
It gets narrowed. Like,
you want to drag that out of the way. You're getting
no, I know it's skewed. I know that the asset was probably like square, and then they just warped it out, and so it gets thinner. And I'm like, oh no, you just make a new one. Come on, and make it take a little bit longer because the pulse would take longer. Like that tiny, but everything else, I think this is a great website. I'm interested to see what it's capable of. And the branding is really good. So
that would have been my product of the week, by the way, not because the visuals are sick, but because the concept's really interesting. But 3.7 just crushed it. Yeah,
it's got to be a video of some sort, some kind of export. I bet it's After Effects.
Ooh, this is a delightfully spicy take right here. Site says tech, logo says funeral.
Oof.
For Flora. Yikes, that was a good one, Ethan. Let me catch up real fast here. Chat, there's a lot of people today. Please keep it coming. We're going to try and do as much as we can. I think especially once the competition starts, and we're bouncing between people live, bouncing between what Brett's up to, what Hendrik's up to. Would love to see kind of the questions that you guys have coming in or the things that you're noticing, calling them out. That'll be really cool for us to kind of help click into. So we'll definitely want to make sure that we do as much of that as we can. I saw something interesting here. Let me find it. Yeah, this was good. I wonder if Framer is streaming this as an event just for shits and giggles. I hope so. Maybe, you know what? Maybe Jorn's getting in there and he's got some action, voting against the competitors. He's like, I'm an arbitrage.
If they are Framer, add AI to your custom component editor yesterday, please just put it in there. It's the perfect fit for it. I don't know what else they've got to be cooking something, but custom components are like
You think that Framer would kill it if they made dude, I'm so glad to hear somebody else say that. I 1000% agree with that.
One of the most important parts of Framer is the custom componentry, because when we switched over from Webflow to Framer years ago at Base Dash, it was because the developers get in there and we could write React together and create the components that didn't exist and augment what Framer had. So like we had a markdown formatter for our blog because they didn't have inline snippets yet. We built all this kind of crazy stuff with custom components, and the sky is the limit with that thing. Like exposing the props and being able to hook up data, like their API controls. You put an AI prompting in there, like Claude style, or not Claude style, cursor style, right there. The code in, the stuff you could build would be crazy. I don't know why it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, please just add that. Oh man, I would build so much stuff.
Joseph is sending Slack messages to the team right now. We know.
Yeah.
Last time we talked shit about Framer on this, both Tommy and I got Slack messages within an hour or two about they're like, we're gonna fix our pricing. And sure enough, they followed through with it. It was honestly one of the coolest responses from a company I've seen. I love the stuff that Framer does for their community. I think that they're crushing it, and long Framer, excited to see what they do for AI.
Well, if you guys can get them to change things, can you ask them, because maybe coming from me it doesn't mean anything, ask them to add an API for their CMS. That would be great.
Yeah,
that would
really
be cool.
would be great.
That would be cool.
But I've got lots of ideas.
Hear me out. Framer interface plus cursor AI functionality.
That's it.
Tommy just tweeted this, Andres, so don't steal. All right. But Tommy just tweeted this out. I think this right here, this would be the dominant player in the space. If
like
somebody
when you think blue sky, like if you had no limitations, like that's the outcome, and it works fucking flawlessly, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like if we're taking cursor, for example, right? Like I don't know how everybody uses cursor. And I think at this point, like I don't care if you're saying cursor or windsurf. Like let's all get on the same page here that they're just forks of VS Code. So use them like synonymously. It's whatever. But I don't know what everybody's setup in cursor is, or if you have one. I hope you do. But for example, I still go old school. I like to have the actual code open as my primary window so I can see what's happening, and I have the chat bar small, right? But if I could change it and the chat bar is small and my primary window was a Framer-like visual editor, and I'm seeing in real time as I'm talking to 3.7 about it, and it's generating assets in a Framer-like experience that I can edit, that would be huge, right? Like that would change the game. We'll see if it gets there.
Let me throw another design tool in there that I don't think people would talk about it as if it is a design tool. I mean, we got the framers and the web flows. Those are all for websites. I think that the design tool that's going to take over for product design is going to be Devin. Have you guys messed around with Devin?
Interesting take.
Take. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the one. Like, so personally, I can do a marketing website. I am not great at a marketing website. That's why we went for we hired on Reboot, and like I put some stuff at the end there. I knew that it was going to be better if someone else took that on. I'm a product designer. That's like what I can focus on. I feel like it's much easier going to be to work in that. But Devin is the first tool. And I just talked to the team at Cognition last week, try to get them on the Base Dash. But that is going to be the tool because it's right inside your code. It's going to be able to push PRs. Designers are going to be able to actually contribute to the code of the product in natural language. That's going to be the design tool of product design in the future if they can nail the UX.
Okay, now I gotta mess with it.
Okay, so we had Sahil Lavingia on the show last week, and they're huge on Devin at Gumroad and Anti-Work. I don't know. I've been wanting to play with it, but I've also heard some crazy things about Devin. Do you think it's a situation to where Devin is only useful if you already have a product in production and you're trying to make incremental changes?
Yes, that's the differentiation. Like everything else is saying start from scratch and use our tool. But so that's such a narrow window that you're trying to appeal to. Like maybe Play 2. I'm not familiar with Play 2. Maybe you're coming up with a new product.
Create with Play. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I messed around with it a while ago. I haven't looked at that. They have a new product.
I don't know. I thought it was just prototyping.
Okay. Not, it can do like full iOS apps, right?
I haven't played with it, but I believe it can. The bridge is pretty small.
Yeah. So I think that the reason it is going to work better is because there's not a lot of like net new products that are being developed, or that narrow window of time where like new idea where you can start with like a new framework. Like I talked to, I'm forgetting the name of it, Subframe.
Yep.
And they were like, well, if you start with us, then it's going to be great. And I was like, but we've been building for a year. I can't like migrate away from this. We have this code and I have to have something that can contribute as if it's a developer right now. And I've tried a lot of tools in the past and they're all kind of like, you have to start with us. And I'm like, why do I want it? Like, I get that if you're starting a new tool, like great, now you have a great foundation. But if we haven't, then I can't use you at all. And I feel like the reason that tools like Devin are going to work is because there's the majority of the time, the issue is I just see this thing in production and I need to change it now. And I think the horror stories I've heard about Devin have been that the expectations aren't being set appropriately by the tool itself. Like you can't do a full migration in there. You can't say like, do this crazy thing. It's a junior and maybe like urging on a senior developer, but you have to give it some pretty specific instructions and it does it okay. Like, it does a good job when you know exactly what it's capable of. There's a learning curve there. But that's, that we're starting to use it more base dash. We used it like leading up to launch. And I feel like that's going to be compelling because then people will be able to like actually reach in there. They don't have to stand up a dev environment. They don't have to do dependencies installation and run it locally with local dev environment. Like just say like, hey, I want to add a drop shadow here.
Do you think, so have you tried OnLook? Because I haven't tried OnLook yet.
No,
but that seems to be the real problem. It's like all of us like indie folks out here have no issue using some of these. But it's more the teams that have they start to develop a lot of that debt and legacy.
Yeah.
How do you integrate? At least places like or tools like OnLook seem to be trying to think about how to like come and sit on top of existing projects.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's where I'm at. Like I'm product design. I'm not joining someone where they're net new. I mean, we pivoted and we did something new from our code base, a year ago, but like, that's just not a normal thing. Most of the time you're dealing with some kind of legacy stack, even if it's just a couple weeks old or a couple months old, like it's still something that you have to build against. You can't start from scratch. Unless you're doing a website.
Right.
I like it. This feels like Saturday Night Fight Night. I'm picturing Brett and Henrik are in the back with their coaches talking through strategy. I can confirm that I can see Henrik right now. You guys can't, but I can. I can see Henrik.
I can see Henrik. Hello, Henrik, in the waiting room.
Waving. He's there. I don't know if he's got coaches outside of the camera frame, but we see Henrik. Brett is here as well. Brett's probably unpacking some Pokemon cards right now while watching like a Call of Duty stream. Like I bet he's chilling. He's just calm as a cucumber, ready to rock and roll. I bet both these guys are. So it's gonna be really good.
There was a comment here I want to just call out. Someone said that's going to be a tough sell to enterprises, specifically about like Devin. That's going to be a tough sell to enterprises. And if it's going to be a tough sell for those enterprises, they're going to get steamrolled by small teams who are going to be able to out execute them. It's going to happen. A team of 6 or a team of 10 is going to be able to out execute anybody. Yep. So if an enterprise is hesitant to do that, they're not going to be around in 5 years. Like that's just
damn. It is so nice to have a proper spicy take from a guest.
Yeah.
What fuck yeah, Tom.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, I've been in enterprise world. I've seen how much faster a team with unencumbered team inside of an enterprise works. Yeah. Like when I was at Asurian, the team of 6, we had like no blockers. We did so much in like 6 months. People couldn't believe it. Because we basically were insulated from the rest of the organization. Yeah. As soon as you get coupled into the enterprise, it's resistant to change, and it's a problem. So teams that are pushing back on these new AI tools, it's like we don't want to push to prod or whatever. Like get real. Come on, like this is the way that things are going to go. You're going to get destroyed by a team of 10 or 5 or 1.
Dude, my favorite
completely roll you.
My favorite argument, and we'll get ready to bring Brett and Henrik on here in the next few minutes. My favorite thing, and I say this on the show all the time, I always bring up the SWE benchmark, right? So when I say the SWE benchmark, just to make sure we're all on the same page here, the way we're measuring tools like Claude, for example. So Lovable today Henrik's going to be using Lovable. It's going to be using Claude 3.7 Sonnet under the hood. 3.5, which was the state-of-the-art coding model 4 days ago, right, scores a 49% on the software engineering benchmark. And what that means is they give it 100 problems, 100 different engineering problems, and they see how many it can solve in one try, right? And so 3.5 could solve 49% of those problems. I fucking guarantee you, if we go, I'm sitting in downtown Chicago right now. If I go over to Accenture's office or BCG or Deloitte or whatever, and I go and pull one of their, senior engineers that's being paid, a couple $100,000 a year and billing clients, who knows how much, I bet they score lower than a 49%. I bet the average, let's say the median engineer there scores lower than a 49% on the SWE benchmark. Now, 3.7 is at a 63, right? Like a 63%. That's mind blowing. And it's funny, Tommy, you mentioned this at the top of the show. I've been working on something that's really complicated. And I got stuck with 3.5. And it was just kind of going in loops, all these things. And I said, you know what? Cursor, is talking about, or not Cursor, excuse me, Claude is talking about how they're going to have a new model coming out soon. We got OpenAI coming out with new stuff. I'm going to wait. I'm going to give it a week or a week and a half or two, and I'm going to see if this new model comes out. Sure enough, 3.7 comes out. I open it up in Cursor. I throw it at the problem. It solves it in 1 hour. And it had taken me days and days of 3.5 to try and get through this, and it couldn't do it. So I think it's fascinating that small teams are going to get orders of magnitude better without even doing anything, because the models are just going to keep getting better. So it's going to be an exciting time.
In 5
That's really loud, Tommy.
some bio break, and then the build wars begins. I'm kicking you out until then. See you in 5. All right. What's up, boys?
What's up?
How are setups doing? Let me hear you. Let me hear your voices.
Let's hear it.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Hey,
Hello, hello.
Henrik. Good to meet you, man.
Can you hear me?
I
We can hear you. What's going on, Henrik?
Nice to meet you.
You as well.
Nice to meet you,
So,
Henrik.
to confirm, I know we've all been DMing for a couple weeks now, but Brett and Henrik, you guys have never been on a call together, right? You don't really know each other outside of the beef around this competition. So we got it looks like 10,000 people watching right now. So we're looking at the number across all the streams. So we got 10,000 right now. About to dive into this. You guys got 45 minutes. You guys got the prompt okay. Everybody understands everything. We're ready to rock and roll.
Ready?
Cool. Let's go ahead and share both of your screens. Remember, we're going to be bouncing between them. You guys don't have to do anything. Just keep working. Keep your main monitor that you're working in that has either Webflow or Lovable open. And then we will choose how to display them. We're going to be bouncing back and forth as you guys are doing interesting stuff. My only call out, given that we're using StreamYard for this, just mute us. I think we can mute you guys, but just mute us so you don't hear us talking. That way we don't distract you.
Yep, and keep track of time. This is crazy. We have so many people here. We're going to kick the build wars off in about 10 minutes. We're going to just run through a couple of housekeeping. First and foremost, paper.design. I want to be clear. Someone, Stephen Haney of paper.design, got wind of this contest and said, hey, we're building a next-gen design tool. We support this chaos. And there's nothing I love more than things like that. So I really appreciate it. Congratulations on your recent investment. That's crazy. The design tool space is just kicking up. I got a demo of paper. This is going to be sick. But this we were just talking about interfaces with the LLM interfaces, like visual editor interfaces with LLMs. I'm excited to see what they produce over there. And then Contra, by the way, who I thought this was pretty cool. And I get behind a lot of companies that give away to the community. Just had their fourth birthday. I think it was yesterday. Gave away Studio Display. Some pretty cool announcements. Dan Petty did a commercial. Like they hired Dan Petty, a designer in the industry or in the community, to do a commercial for them. I thought that was freaking crazy.
Pretty good.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Henrik, though, doing your own marketing for Lovable, says Webflow is officially dead. The lore of how this match came to be just happened overnight. In response, Brett says, I got you.
All I want to know, Henrik, have you gotten a raise yet, man? If not, let us know the email of your manager, and we're gonna send some emails because you brought a lot of hype to Lovable, which already had a lot of hype, but you brought a lot of hype to Lovable real fast with this.
Yeah, not yet.
All right, we got you.
And so suddenly this thing is just gone off, and we've got 2,600 that said they're attending. We've got thousands of you that are watching. The polls are popping off. Some polls have Henrik in the lead. Other polls have Brett. I don't know which way this is going to go. I have no clue. But let me tell you how this contest is going to run. That I do have some idea of. All right. We have a landing page in 45 minutes for a fake AI robotics company that you have to build. The rules are pretty simple. You do have 45 minutes to build this. You get 5 minutes to present your build while we shut up and listen. And then the three of us get 15 minutes, 5 minutes each to judge your build based on a set of criteria. Some quick guidelines I would tell you is that you cannot use any pre-built templates, but you can use plugins, AI generators, UI components. You can use pre-built UI components, third-party images, and any sort of icon or type libraries you want to. You guys aren't going to be doing a whole lot, but just vibing to your own music and crushing that 45 minutes. I want to tell everyone in the audience, by the way, that this is a tight, compressed window to get work done. We do not expect them to have this entire challenge complete, but we will be grading all of the things that they're able to get done in 45 minutes. One of the challenges, beyond just designing the landing page I'm going to show you here, is picking 2 interaction challenges to incorporate. These can either be front end or kind of a back end flow. One could be a newsletter sign up. The other is a testimonial carousel. Another is a demo request form, so actually submitting that and having visual feedback. And the fourth is a comparison toggle, so comparing 2 pieces of content in some interactive way. I've provided a bunch of copy for you, and you bet your butt this is all AI generated. We did this in 5 days. All of this copy you can use, you can get rid of some of it. It is all for
Did we just lose Tommy?
I think so.
Uh-oh, we lost Tommy. Oh, no. That's all right. I'll take over. So as Tommy was showing, let me go ahead and stop my screen.
Hey, I'm back
We'll
up,
share the
boys.
right one. Oh, there we go. I was about to take over.
hey. All those objects are optional. I'm just going to pick it right up. I even put together a really makeshift wireframe. You do not have to follow anything in this structure. Listen, I know what it's like being in your seat. I've done this competition before. Having these at least baseline wireframes were immensely helpful. 45 minutes is not a long time. Do you have questions? How are we feeling?
Ready?
Ready.
Did we get sleep?
Brett did not sleep.
I was building Webflow components in my sleep last night, so that tells anything.
We're gonna start on the 10-minute mark here, which is in just a couple minutes. So we're gonna kill those 3 minutes for the ease of time. Hey guys, everyone watching this, the 3 of us judging this, don't go to your boss and tell him what we said wins is what you guys should use. All right? We're a couple of idiots. Don't do that. Just enjoy the show.
Just remember to blame Tom Johnson.
Yeah, that's fine.
disagree
Most
with
importantly,
the outcome. And remember, the audience does have the popular vote. So the official winner of the belt, if we will, that's what the judges are for. Audience is going to go for the popular vote. Right when we begin judging, we're going to share a poll on X. We'll make sure the link is dropped here in the chat for YouTube. There are a handful of different chats. So we'll just kind of make sure that everybody can tweet it out. But we'll get that out there. Of course, as this starts, one thing I want to call out, and honestly, like I'm kind of, it's both cool and exciting, and it's also a little annoying that we have to make this disclosure. Yes, this was open for bets on Poly Market. It's starting now. I don't know anything about how that works. The judges haven't made any bets on Poly Market, just so you're clear. I have had some DMs with their CEO, just making clear, like, hey, we are the people that are judging. So you know who we are, and we're not involved in this in any way. So Poly Market's taking care of all that stuff. So there's nothing funny going on. And luckily, like, I am relieved to see that the bets are still, like, fractions of a cent and stuff like that. So please don't go crazy. And if you bet and you lose a little bit of money because your guy didn't win, don't blame us. It's just,
hey, don't bet on this.
Yeah, please don't bet on this. Don't be that guy that made
right.
a $63,000 bet on.
There's a
Webflow.
$60,000 bet apparently riding on this, and that's spooky. All right,
Yep.
Henrik, Brett, I'm kicking you guys off the stream here. Get ready because you're going to begin. Pay attention. All right, it's happening. It's happening,
All right.
boys.
Let's do it. Let's bring up. I think we're gonna start. Let's start with Henrik, because I think a lot of the action. Oh, that's us. I think a lot of the action with.
I haven't
Henrik,
said start yet. That's why he's sharing. That's why he's looking at that.
Yeah, he's
I'm
not
just
good.
looking at the minute.
As soon as we hit 10, we'll pull Henrik up and we'll see what he starts doing in Lovable first, and then we'll pop in and we'll see what's going on in Webflow.
All right, boys, you may begin. Oh, we got jam. It was them. Well, let me ask you this, Hunter. How would you have prepped for this with an hour?
Well, I think let's see what Henrik's already done. So he found some components in 21st.dev.
Yeah, that whole prompt ready.
Oh, he had a whole prompt ready. So he's really skating the laws of the contest right now. As we said, as long as we can see you go,
Not opposed to that.
paste. Yep.
I mean, we knew what giving the prompt an hour early was going to do.
Wait, so is there an extension inside of 21st Dev that allows them to copy the Lovable specific
There is.
extension?
There is.
Cool.
Yeah. So 21st.dev is permitted in this case.
I think one important thing for the audience too to call out, because we're streaming this live and we're not pre-recording it, we can't go side by side in both of their screen shares.
No, we cannot.
So we're going to be bouncing between them based on kind of what we're seeing in the background and what's interesting. And then, so everybody has full disclosure. We can see everything live. So we can see their screens right now, but we can only promote one to the screen at the time, given that it's live. Kind of sucks, but it is the way that it is. Sadly, it's the restriction we got. So we're going to have to roll with it. Let's go back over here. Yeah, so he's installing the NPM dependencies and everything just right off the rip with that.
Whoa.
Use this background.
What is that object?
Well, he pulled that from 21st.dev.
The robot.
Yeah, the robot came from 21st.dev. What's
Okay.
cool here is Brett could do that too. Brett could embed a lot of the HTML in Webflow and see what's going on. You could use Spline, Rive, everything, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna see.
Oh wow, he's putting work in on this. So what I'm very curious to see. This is how I think it's gonna happen. We're gonna see, I think, Henrik make some significant progress, and it's pretty impressive too, quickly. I'm curious what the tail end of this looks like, and I think that's where we're really gonna start to see Brett shine. Like, what happens when you hit the context window?
True.
You know?
I mean, in 45 minutes, doing a landing page is tough to say, but in 45 minutes, you would assume he'll hit the context window 4 or 5 different times.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, there will be a recording available. This is going to live on YouTube after the fact.
Yep.
See, and then this is where it's interesting to see. Oh, wow.
So he's got multiple tabs open
Yeah.
Yeah.
just for the components.
Okay, here's the visual editor.
Let's see this. So he's editing that in line.
If Brett actually does this, he's the GOAT. The entertainment.
Wait, so if he modifies that advanced stuff at the bottom there, does it do like, does it correct? Because there was a error in the code. There was a floating bracket.
I think it will, because it's essentially the same as just like an AI prompt, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah, because that bracket there is going to. It's not.
yeah, judging on in-quality, not speed. That's right. Yep. And remember, we'll pull in just a few minutes. We'll pull out the judging criteria once more, so everybody can kind of see as we go through this. But yeah.
I've had people ask, they said, are you going to judge the code quality? And my response to that is we're going to outsource it to dev Twitter, and then our grandchildren will announce the winner. When they come
Wait,
to
is
a
Henrik
consensus.
even a designer or marketing guy? Henrik is on the marketing team.
He's a marketing. Yeah. Eric.
He is
So
not a designer.
that's the entire other part of this. Marketing person says Webflow is dead using Lovable, competing against a designer using Webflow.
Yep. And friendly reminder too, I think, yep, here we go. Brett's rocking.
What has he been scaffolding here? This is one thing for future matches. I'd like to be able to zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, we can't. This is kind of the thing too, is if we were side by side, we wouldn't be able to see a single thing that was going on.
True.
Yeah. Can probably play with that in post with the recording, but yeah.
How does marketing guy know so much HTML, CSS? The same reason a designer might, right? There's definitely a benefit to doing that. Yeah, 100%. I'm impressed with this hero section already. I'm, like I said, where I'm going to be really curious is to see how he spot treats navigation and many other sections in, you know, that are available to him. And maybe he doesn't. Maybe he goes completely off script. It's like a single browser view. I don't know.
I'm curious about consistency as the page goes. Like he's doing different components in different windows. How do you make sure that they're all feeling cohesive?
Yeah.
Change log here. Yeah, he's really relying on 21st.dev. I love that. I love seeing that get used as a resource in real time here. And I wonder if Brett's going to do it at all.
We have the founder of 21st.dev joining us in a few weeks. I think he's got a very cool product. He just talked about getting rejected for the 6th time from YC. And it has a great story, though.
Yep.
I'm convinced that Lovable as a tool already is pretty powerful, but I think design taste, as subjective as it is going to move the W to Brett. I think on an unlimited timeline, the W would go to Brett. The question is, when we introduce some of these constraints, what happens, right? It's coming together. So that gradient he's using is one of our provided assets.
That gradient is, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how he's going to handle some of that clipping that's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could, because like I could think of like fun ways to feather that away or other,
Yeah.
you know, but in here,
So we got Brett grabbing some images.
he's grabbing images. What's he using? So there's one gradient. See, and he's gonna, this is what I mean. Took him a little bit longer to get putting things together, but the ability to manipulate tiny details is really gonna start to show up.
Yeah, you don't need a prompt to change the image behavior cover contain. You don't have to wait for it.
I don't think he's touching the AI, the new AI feature in here either.
No, I don't think so. This is all old
Interesting.
school. Which, you know what? Like, that makes sense. I think if I was Brett in this case, I'd be going with what I know. I wouldn't use the new.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The world is on the line today. And somebody puts, can you imagine if someone put $60,000 on you to win?
Man, like, I hope that's. I'm not even
I hope
getting
we're
into
reading
right
that
now.
incorrectly.
Yeah, I hope we're wrong about that.
It almost, I mean, was it like someone bet and then unbet? But it looked like a different username. I don't really understand the.
Yeah, I don't, this is the first time I'm hearing about Polymarket.
What is
What is
Webflow?
Webflow? So that's Nandi. Hey, dude, you want to be next?
Nandi,
Sure.
you got thrown
You got-
into the crucible earlier by somebody.
Yeah, you got chops, man. We should organize. You're Nandi, a fantastic Framer developer, runs Framer University.
So
this
it is Lovable.
This is not the last one, by the way. The last Build Wars. What were you asking?
I was going to say, is Lovable only on 3.7?
I think, yeah.
They-
I don't think
they-
you
they-
choose. Yeah,
You don't choose
everything is Vite, and so everything under the hood is Vite, Tailwind.
What's your beef with Vite?
It's not necessarily that I have a specific beef with Vite, although I would prefer Next. I just don't like that I'm limited, right?
Mm.
That's the big thing. Here we go. I'm so ready. All right.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Some legends in the chat. We do have good people in the chat. So I think one thing that is important to call out here too, Fawn said we need a countdown timer. I do. Do we want to add one to the banner real quick?
I don't know that you can.
Well, let's just call out for everybody that this is going to end. They have until
The time. Yeah.
3:05 Eastern.
It's a good point. 3:05 Eastern. 1 second.
If anybody wants to like hop in there with Lovable or Cursor or whatever and build a much better live streaming platform, please do. The options are not great. Let's go back. Let's see what Brett's got going on here.
What do we say? 3:55 Eastern. Yeah.
3:55 Eastern.
Are either of them following the wireframe that you sent out?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
which is totally fine.
Yeah, I would do the same.
2:25 Eastern or 3:55 Eastern? 2:55. Tell me.
2:55 Eastern time. Yeah,
This is what the
you
show is,
struggle.
everybody. Sorry.
You struggle with
yells at
time
me.
zones.
I'm curious how he's doing the Webflow styling, if he's actually giving class names, because if he's not, then I'm going to love it, because that drives people crazy. Webflow
Yeah.
users, they're all about the class names, but I'm like, you just got to move fast. Like, go fast. If it doesn't work, then who cares? Don't name your classes unless you have to.
I mean, Brett's already laying down some style here. I'm a little thrown off by this middle gradient, but stylistically, I'm already a fan of what's going on here in Webflow more so than this. And this is kind of what I expected, is like in the Lovable world here. Oh, there's some good stuff though. Actually,
No.
Oh,
What?
okay, hold on. What?
This? What?
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's a timeline.
It is a timeline.
Ooh.
He's pulling all this from 21st.dev.
I mean, listen. Oh, 21st.dev getting some screen time today. Way to go.
He's got some good stuff going on.
He really does. Like this
yeah,
is
he's moving fast.
Okay. I was pretty unanimously, and like I kept going back and forth like, no, there's a chance. I'm like, no way. Brett is probably gonna take this.
Yeah.
I
I just saw somebody say shots fired Devin. So I'm assuming Devin Fountain said something crazy, but we have so many comments I cannot.
It's hard to keep up, Devin. You're just another digit, man. If you are new to our show, we are a little uncouth. We apologize and promise nothing.
I hope he changes this hero section because points are going to be deducted stylistically for the hero.
Yeah, you're not a fan.
Not a fan.
Okay,
It's got some
All
clipping issues. Like, it doesn't feel like it's integrated. And the cursor glow follow thing is consistently in some other sections, but it's not the same style all the way down.
Yep.
It's like way too
It
harsh
is
at the top.
inconsistent.
Like, you can make that super subtle, like just on the edges of the text or something like that. Or maybe like if you really had that 3D asset, like follow some kind of, if it was a shader, then you could do it around the robot itself. Like if that was a unicorn embed, then you could do that with the video asset. I don't know, what is that a video asset? It's got to be.
Yeah, I think it looks like
like
it might
it.
be spline or something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's transparent.
Okay, so
Can't do video.
we're in Figma working on some gradients real quick. Where's he working on?
Is those custom icons?
It looked like he had some icons going on. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, he's doing the testimonial carousel. I think that's what he's up to. I wish we could zoom in on what he's doing. But you're starting to see the vision here for Brett.
Yeah.
There's a good clean design going on here.
Now, people were asking, like, how are we going to consider responsiveness, and are we going to think about
We're
accessibility
not.
and some of these things? And the truth is, those are worthwhile things to consider. But that's not something we have time for.
We're not going to do lighthouse scores?
We're not going to do Lighthouse.
Oh,
Do you
come
know how
on.
many people would get triggered by that?
I'm gonna pop just because I see a lot of people asking. I'm gonna pop Brett and Henrik on real quick, but leave them muted. But they're here behind the scenes cooking. You can see Henrik here, stand focus. Just so everybody knows, they have our audio muted, and we're trying to not distract them. So that's why we've had them hidden, so we can share the screens and stuff like that. But they're here. They're cooking away. Looks like both of them are zoned in. They got their game faces on. We got a Brett would win if he used Framer. I got to tell you this, and this is, we talk a lot on the show about all the great stuff that Framer does for the community. We are seeing that in real time. There's been countless people in this chat that are just like, nah, Webflow is old news, like Framer, right?
Yeah, that's interesting to see the opinions in here.
I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think if I was Jorn, I'd be sitting here watching this right now and thinking like, I think I'm the winner of this competition. I think Framer and Lovable are the real winners here.
Yeah, man, what a fun time to be alive for tools. I love this stuff so much, guys. I really do love seeing everybody just like building and competing. This is fun, man.
Have
And
the
this is-
judges tried Lovable? Yeah, we're pretty deep in all these tools.
Well, so an interesting thing you could do if you had Framer on one of these, you could actually do like team
Yeah,
competitions,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
Webflow multiplayer, not a thing.
You can't.
I don't
do
think
it,
it's Lovable, but Framer, if there was another tool like it, like you could, if there was another tool like it, that sounded way too lofty, but like there's no multiplayer on these other tools. You couldn't
Zone.
actually like build it unless there was like a Figma to Lovable export. Like you could do something where they're like a whole team competing. That could be a cool vibe.
I want to get some motion designers competing on like a little concept, but Benefit
yeah.
versus someone, you know, draws good.
Hendrik should have used the Builder IO plugin with Lovable. So here's the fun thing. So they didn't get the prompt until an hour before the competition started. So, you know, the spicy thing here that we got to remember is Hendrik's not a designer. And so we made sure that they couldn't game the system. So you're seeing them come into this with only an hour of prep time and get through this stuff. So the one thing I will say here is I don't think even if he had time to prep with a design, Builder.io would have done what they needed to make this visually strong enough to compete in the total 45-minute window.
This is not easy. We are at 15 minutes of being in action here. And I'm telling you right now,
We changed it.
yeah,
Yep.
his
Interesting.
coach said, hey, Hunter's deducting.
Yeah. Yeah, he got a Slack message. You're losing points for that robot. All right. No more talking about points. Quick, let's say something about Brett.
Yeah.
I like the little masonry grid we got going on here.
Mhm.
Like this. I like that we got
He's
the
going with the
on.
form. He's doing the form for the interaction, it looks like.
He's even doing like required autofocus on the form. That's like a real thing.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
good.
That's going to be important.
It is. I mean,
He hooks
really
it up to
is.
Zapier and actually has it like a web submission. Then I'm gonna give him some extra points for that.
Yeah, there we go. Let's bounce over here. Yeah, there's a lot of interactivity, and this is kind of what I thought would happen is that we'd see a lot of stuff get done on the AI side, but it would be lacking in terms of overall visual aesthetic.
Well, I mean, it's cool that the robot follows the cursor and all that kind of stuff, but
Yep.
it feels disconnected right now.
Morton said, how about copy on the site? We provided them with copy.
Yeah, I gave them a. Sorry.
Hmm?
Yeah, they got a. We put together a whole Figma file. I was looking at someone's comment here. They said, will the links be available for the builds so that they can play with them? And we haven't talked about that. And maybe
Maybe,
we'll see.
He's
Cool.
doing form validation.
We'll let you know.
Submitting
Otherwise,
form states.
Brett's color science way better. Agreed.
It looks good. It does. That it's striking to me. I like this.
Hunter, what do you think about that font? Do you think that one's better than Speezy Extended?
I do. I think Brett has out-fonted you.
Yeah, well, I think that I have a pretty low bar to clear if I read you right.
Wait,
it
the guy doing the level
normal
build is
marketing?
not a designer. He is not. He is not a designer. He's a member of their marketing team.
Patrick says something. What this doesn't account for is integrating with marketing tools, external marketing tools.
Yeah, we got 45 minutes.
I think there's lots of fun ways we could build out certain things. I would love to get two incredible brand designers to Mid-Journey prompt the best brand guide.
Mid-Journey versus what's the
Visual.
Visual Electric.
Visual Electric? Well, that'd be cool.
You know who's interesting too is Pablo
Stanley, Lumi.
It's Pablo Stanley's app. Is it Lumi? Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just playing with that the other day. There's
I've
some
looked at it.
things it doesn't modeling. I'm interested to see how they continue to build around that. But their editing thing is really nice. There's a couple of really good ideas in there, and it's really well thought too. By the way, that product.
Got Gil Kruger in here. Shout out Mid-Journey.
Hey.
Visual Electric. Yep. I think what I'm realizing is you can have an agency combo of AI plus design. You can cook MVPs in a few hours, very strong. Yeah, question is value. You know,
Yeah.
how that works out from a value standpoint.
20,000 viewers on the day watching this fight,
Watching this go down live.
this lo-fi fight.
Since I take full blame for what goes on, I'll take full credit for getting this.
All right, so he's moving along. I like this.
Dude, I gotta say, man, I think Brett has an eye for gradients and shadows.
Mhm.
If he's shown us anything with his little Figma experiments on Twitter, he's crushing the gradients and the shadows.
Is that an AI generated
Image?
Was that one you provided, or is that
No,
one
it
you
wasn't.
did?
So, which is interesting because to be fair, with the limited time, I think the images could have used some work, but they were there to be a reference. And I was wondering if anyone was going to reference them and just make their own. And I like seeing that that's what he did here.
Yeah, I mean the interesting thing is like the robot itself ties in some of the color palette and the gradients.
Exactly.
Staging, so it fits.
I wish I could have seen where he pulled that
Honestly,
from.
sure.
Was he using Midjourney or
Does
what?
hold on, does he have two different heroes and two different tabs?
I feel like he's iterating on them because maybe that I was starting to notice that too. I think he's doing a couple at the same time, and then I wonder if he can merge like the things he likes into another one.
I think one thing that he's missing is using Super Whisper to do this with his voice, speed
Yeah.
up that text input.
Yeah.
That's a big game changer.
He's doing a lot of copy paste though.
Mm.
We haven't been watching him for a sec, so I can't tell if it's all coming from 21st.dev. I mean, he's got like 6 21st.dev tabs fold open right there.
That is impressive. Just both of these, the progress they've made already.
It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Jakarta Sands, what? What's up, Adrian?
I'm digging this.
It feels like Lovable design is already plateauing. Reading some of the comments here.
Yeah.
Oh, the Super Whisper. No, it's not like hitting command twice. It's got its like own AI model for transcription. It's faster than the Mac one. It's awesome.
Hosts don't get. He's going to pick one in the end. I think we get that actually. You know, believe it or not, I think we're smart enough to put 2 and 2 together.
Hunter is. I'm not. I'm an idiot. Brett Neo versus Lovable Agent. Agent Smith.
I think the weird thing with this some of the Lovable stuff is like there's so much happening in a single component. Like you
Right.
have to like make that. You can't go deeper into it. Like you can't isolate that component and say, hey, I want to just focus on this one thing for a little while and then go back out. It's all together on the canvas. Like I
Yeah,
wish
yeah.
you could isolate the context a little bit more visually.
Is Henrik 19? If so, fuck yeah.
Man,
I don't know,
I hope so now.
but
That's
that would be awesome. But I will say this too. It seems like on one hand, there's a little too much ambition for Chrome on Henrik's build. However, I think that's actually a decent strategy for this.
I mean, he's tying I'm gonna call it a sweater. I'm gonna say it's a sweater. He's tying in the robot sweater with these gradients and the button. I mean, this is, you know, we've got some quality design stuff going on here. Oh,
Is that the right color? We could probably use Paper Design's true color matching to.
we could hire a paper designer off of Contra to
There you go.
figure that out.
Contra big into the new tools.
Speaking of, how'd you guys feel about Contra's commercial that Dan Petty directed? I feel like Dan Petty's commercial directorial debut was a hit. It seemed.
yeah, it was good.
Dan Petty looks like a director.
He kind of does, doesn't he?
He just kind of looks like a director. Like I used to work in the film industry, and he is a PA, just a little gopher boy. He looks like a director.
Here we
Yeah.
go. Stephen Haney, Paper CEO. Speaking of, right there.
Yeah.
Even if you need anybody to direct a commercial, yeah, I'm your boy. I don't know how to, but you know what? I'll figure it out, man. I want to direct a commercial now.
Hunter's resourceful.
Very
He's
resourceful.
Welcome to our platform. Do you guys ever theme your icons or flash your Android ROMs once upon a time
mean,
I
I've done that.
did.
to theme your operating systems? That was never a thing you did, Hunter?
I did, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do
You
you
forget,
think we're gonna get to
mobile
we've got like dark mode? Do you think we're gonna get to a place where we can just have like themed apps, like the way we want them to be?
Yes, I do.
I was thinking about that today. You say no?
I don't want that.
You don't want that? Sometimes that's all I want. I just want everything. I just want retro mono sans. Let's go.
I don't know. I'm getting flashbacks to the time I saw someone like with their Samsung phone and they were using some horrible font on the app that I had designed. And I was just like, no, you killed my baby. What have you done? I couldn't take it.
That's
This is
fair.
a take right here. Somebody just made a Lumen Industries shout out.
Oh man, Severance last night was
The work is mysterious and
Please,
important.
please don't talk about Severance.
No, I'm not gonna-
only
no
one-
I didn't
spoilers.
watch last night's episode, so
You-
cannot.
You have to. That was.
Okay.
It was
We
good.
are at the halfway mark, by the way. We've got 20 minutes left remaining on the fierce battle.
Hmm.
Some jazzy vibes in the background.
Use white text for the second section.
Okay, so he's got text gradient. Huh.
Turn it down just a little bit. Tommy.
Yeah, that is a little bit louder on this one. I gotcha.
Are they allowed to watch a stream?
It's not against the rules.
It's not against the rules. Yeah.
I
But
promise you that they don't have the bandwidth to do it, though.
Yeah, they can't. They can't
Yeah.
even do it. No.
Yeah.
They are not looking at each other's designs and going off of that for sure.
I participated in a contest just like this, but it was in Figma against Dan Mall, who mopped me up. And it was 30 minutes. And it is, yeah, you don't have time. You don't have time to worry about what the other person is doing.
Anything on the line, or is it just bragging rights? Who knows? It's probably just bragging
For
rights.
someone, there's something on the line, but
Yeah, I'm sure there's something. If Brett wins, probably more clients. If Henrik loses, I don't know.
someone said this could be
Hopefully-
AI's watershed moment for AI dev tools.
True. True.
We broke it here first.
How does Lovable optimize for SEO?
What-
I don't
what-
think it's built into Lovable and how it does it.
It's
What's
an interesting
SEO?
question, though. Yeah.
What is SEO? Somebody said almost 200K on Polymarket.
That's
No
crazy.
way. Crazy.
$100 writing on this. Don't bet on this.
Don't
Yeah,
bet
don't
on this.
do it.
No,
Guys,
don't get mad at us.
don't bet on this. I don't want CoffeeZilla coming over here accusing us of things.
Yeah, easy to the Polymarket bets on the line. Not responsible. I'm really impressed. I
Look
will
at them
say that
showing off the code editor that Lovable just released yesterday.
Yeah. I'm really impressed at how fast. Like it's starting to feel cohesive for Lovable.
Yeah.
Makes knows the basics of making UI look dribble good.
They've
That's
also-
a little bit
yeah.
too harsh there. No, this is not just dribble good. This is good stuff. There's a big difference between stuff that's on dribble and this is like a real site.
That's interesting though too. I haven't used Lovable to the fidelity that he's doing, where I've like been like, hey, insert this copy here, insert this image there. I haven't done that with Lovable. I've done that with Windsurf, but it's interesting to see it in Lovable. I'm actually kind of impressed so far that he's still able to get so granular with it right now.
There is 15 minutes left.
Correct.
For those that can't subtract, but 15 minutes left. Time remaining, so we'll get that called out here so you guys know.
All right, so we've got a dark theme versus a light theme. I think dark themes are kind of cheat codes sometimes, to be honest with you. Like for that initial, at a glance.
You think that you would instantly see that something is dark theme and skew?
I think there's it's something that allows that to look cooler if you know how to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Like at first glance, you know what I mean? It just kind of has this like,
What is he looking for?
He's kind of making that robot work though.
Yeah, the robots, yeah. I mean, it's
Right? Like,
different. Yeah.
I don't know. I like that. I thought he's gonna get points for that from me because I think that's pretty clever.
Yeah.
The fact that he found a robot somewhere, like he did not have much time to know what the prompt was. Brett's design is really clean. I agree.
Let's take a quick look at their game faces. Here we go. We got Henrik. He's plugged in. He's on it.
Wonder what they're vibing to. They both have music on.
He looks calm and focused, man.
He came in looking cool and collected.
Cool and collected. Let's see what we got going on, Brett.
That's locked in, is what
that is locked in. That's what yeah. That looks like a man that he's doing this all day, every day.
Yeah. Just another Trello ticket.
Yeah.
Webflow for the win, and it's not even close. Well, there's 14 minutes left here. We will see.
Gradients, it's got some spice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
We didn't supply them with a brand, did we? With the
logo?
Any kind of branding?
No, I mean, not really. Not really, no. I mean, mood board stuff.
Chat, I want to see your votes in real time as they're coming in. How do you think things are going? What's standing out to you right now in the designs you're seeing? I hope Henrik can't hear us. But have you noticed something that I've noticed, Tommy, which is that he has not built any of the interaction challenges yet.
Yeah, maybe because he's thinking that's the easy part for him.
Interesting.
Because it could be. Again, I'm curious what it's like when he gets to the tail end of this context window, but everyone's saying Brett. Brett's less is more approach. Brett. Humans live to see another day. Yeah, we'll see, guys. I don't know yet. I'm not as unanimous as Chad is right now, to be honest with you. I don't think we have enough information here.
We don't.
Yeah, no. I feel like the interactive states, though, that's where AI is going to have a real hard time doing it right, because so much of it just feels better. And
when you can tweak the little
you're like
edges,
hovering it, like a little bit more, squish, a little bit more like bounce. That feels right with the brand, the vibe that I'm going with. And the AI is going to just use default tailwind like interaction states.
Yep. I think that's true.
That's just so they're so rounded, like 300 milliseconds exactly on the nose with this specific easing curve. It's like you could have some more.
Henrik needs a miracle, he says.
Ooh, somebody said Rid should have been on this panel. I think we're going to get Rid in one of these very soon.
Oh yeah, for sure. Rid will be on a panel.
By
the way, Tom, dude, you're great, man. You talk shop very well.
Tom, do you want my host seat? I'm going to retire.
Please take his host seat, even if he doesn't retire.
No, I think people are tired of me shilling base dash, so I'll just
And another episode with Tom Johnson, we're going to talk about base dash.
Yeah,
it's cool. People at this point have a drinking game for every time Tommy says Unicorn Studio.
Yeah. Hey, who do I talk to if I really want to besides from Vlad? Who do I talk to if I really want to dig into WebGL? Any designers out there specifically that come to mind, Tom?
The Unicorn Studio founder, George.
Well, of course, George. Yeah.
Dude, you got to talk to him. I got him set up with Base Dash. So, I talked to him for a while, and the first half hour is just talking shop, just really digging. Get him on the show, man. It's cool to talk to.
Okay.
He's busy though.
Henrik was just checking the rules real quick.
What's he doing?
He was just checking the rules again. Let's see what he's got.
What little thing is he doing?
Let's see what he's up to.
Can I do this a little trick? Wow, copy paste the whole.
Oh, he just opened a new context window, I think is what he just did.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is kind of interesting. I'm like, one thing, we won't have a ton of time. We're going to let them present their builds, but they've only got 5 minutes. I kind of want more thought process on Henrik's side a little bit. We'll have to figure that out. Chat is bumping today. Build this.
Ooh. Love to see
Henrik
write a prompt. Instead of paste it in. Shots fired.
You know, I get that. I totally understand that. And that's where my comment was coming from, of like, I'd love to know the thought process, but I don't want to watch Henrik. Like, Henrik's not going to
I don't want to watch him type.
No.
Yeah.
The same way, like, I don't want to, I'd prefer not to see Brett like start with the fucking rectangle tool, or, you know what I mean? I'd want to see, let's get to the ideas. Yeah, Henrik is not a designer, in case it's not clear, by trade.
That's a testament, though, to just how fucking far these tools have already come.
It actually,
Lovable's
it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, right out the gate, and he's already put together a lot of structure.
Hey, you see this message?
I'm trying to see this right here.
Hunter, Tommy, you guys think we could do startup team versus team? Say one dev designer pair versus another head to head. That would be awesome.
That is a good idea.
Styles of this.
There is a lot more of this coming. I mean, this came together organically. It was kind of a right fit, right time. But we're going to be turning this into a very serious thing and doing a lot of this because, frankly, our industry just needs this right now. There's so much change, so many new tools, so many crazy things happening. We need to see this stuff go head to head. It's the best way to end the debate about you don't need Figma, Webflow's dead, whatever it is. Just go head to head. Put your money where your mouth is.
Now, in my take is I don't think it's necessarily the best source for saying who is the true industry winner, but I do think it exposes a lot to people who formulate opinions on these tools and haven't actually tried them. And I think that's important.
Somebody's calling out this made by humans tag that Brett's using. I don't remember. Was that in the prompt? Was that in the copy file? Was made by humans? Or is Brett just saucing that on his own?
I think he might be saucing that. He made it by, like, a human made this website. So he's now using it as the tagline for the brand.
Oh, I like that. Hey, you're trying to win that popular vote. Interesting. Atlas, where the code. So this is a whole different direction. This is what's kind of crazy to me right now. Okay. Because the idea back when I did this contest that you were going to explore another version of the landing page that you were creating or whatever the challenge was. No, hell no. Interesting that he's on his third iteration of exploration.
Yep. We got 7 minutes left.
We have 7 minutes left.
Was he doing a whole new hero section?
Let's see.
Looks like it. I don't know what the thinking is, but yeah, definitely. It's a whole new aesthetic.
I will tell you, it's kind of crazy. Like, we really have to keep checking in on Henrik because Lovable is just moving so fast.
It is. It is. One thing I did say, though, is, you know, really, I don't know. It's hard, though, actually, with the AI tools. But the initial idea was, you know, if you complete an individual idea, it's probably going to score well versus trying to complete the entire project. But I don't know.
Look at this prompt right here. Make the colors and spacing and colors consistent across the website. That's a job description right there. Like, what?
That's such a good point.
That is so hard to do. What does that mean? I'm curious what the AI does with that.
We'll see it. We'll see it. Let's pop over here. Oh, we got some interactions going on.
Oh, that.
Uh-oh.
That looks kind of nice. I was wondering what he was going to do with those cards because I saw them when they were smaller next to each other and they looked undercooked for sure. Interesting to see how he starts building these out. So, why is he not making a detailed prompt? Well, he did. He's worked with some detailed prompts.
Someone said, I feel like the Lovable site has looked the same for the past 30 minutes. So that's one of the weird things about using these AI tools is, like, the first prompt is the most important one.
Yep.
Because that like locks in the context and it's trying to reference back. It's really hard to get it to forget something. As someone who has to design this kind of stuff, it's like, how do you get it to be like, no, ignore that I just told you. Don't accidentally bring it back in, and get it to like stay on the rails. It's so hard because like with this context window, it's massive. You got all the stuff he said, all the code it's ever generated, and all the different versions and the dependencies and stuff like that, all being brought into one thing. And it's trying to sort through everything when you're trying to say like, make the button consistent. And it's like, well, what does that mean in the context of everything in the world? And it needs to be narrowed. It's tough.
Yep. There's an interesting comment here I want to pull up actually, because this is something that we debated. Alex K said both of them should be a designer or develop the same design. We actually talked about that. Was should we just hand them a design and go for it? But that wasn't the spirit of the challenge in the first place.
No.
Right? The spirit of the challenge in the first place was Webflow's dead. Brett said, hey, if you think that's the case, let's go head to head, and Henrik accepted. Right. So that's the spirit of the challenge of how this all came to be. And we said, look, we'll host it. We'll come up with the most fair criteria of how to judge this. And I think we have. And yeah, so that's how this came to be. I mean, the next series of challenges will be a little bit differently. But
we're going to learn from every one of these we run. And yeah.
I'm confused by the two websites.
Yeah, I'm very interested. So they've got 4 minutes left, and I hope they can hear that. We will open up public polling once judging goes. So they're going to each present for about 5 minutes, and then we'll open up the judging window both for us and for audience.
We got gradients in the text, boys.
Yeah, very good use of the assets here. I'm a sucker for like consistency. See those?
I'm sure. I don't get those.
I love that.
They're angular. Like you got this rounded buttons, rounded font. I'm not really sure I understand why those are squared off.
This is probably one of those sections he would finesse a bit more with some exploration given time, I would assume.
So
That's nice.
So Brett's got that form submission, right? We got a clean header. We got the form submission made by humans. Subscribe to the newsletter. There it is. Okay. All right. We got 3 minutes left. 26,000 people tuned in watching this nonsense.
Oh, he's got some goofy padding issues going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So this is where I'd be whipping out the visual editor. So let's see how that shines right here. Let's see if he clicks at it.
Just add some like Tailwind classes up to it.
Yeah, just click. Oh, he'd already done something. Okay.
Yeah, see.
Oh, he's bouncing between the versions.
Yeah. Jeez. So they've released their Lovable editor. He's generating it, and then is he copy pasting that code from one to the other?
I don't know what
is he trying to do, like concurrent, like make sure that the one AI isn't throttled, so he's using another one to like write the code and then tell it to make it
so many
consistent?
questions. This is
I have a lot of questions as well.
Well, I mean,
see that change log hovers over that next section kind of strangely.
Like multi-threaded AI prompting.
We got something.
He's just Tom Cruise just
and his design work just doesn't add up. Look, I've spent a lot of time talking with Brett. We've had Brett on this show twice.
60 seconds.
60 seconds, guys. I'd say if anything right now, Brett's showing you that he knows what he's doing. Guys, this is gonna be tough to judge.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But it will happen. All right. Getting ready to close down shop on our active window here.
Yeah, it's in context limits.
Here
1 minute. 1 minute. It's probably 5 to 10 seconds.
We got like seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. That's it. That is time, gentlemen. Well done.
Wow. That was fast.
How do we feel?
Oh, there. We gotta do some unmuting real quick.
We do. We got to come out of it.
There we go.
Isolation
Brett,
chamber.
Henrik, can you guys hear us?
Yep.
Yes, I can.
How are palms sweaty? How do we feel?
That was tough.
Yes.
That's tough.
I'm not happy.
Not
Not
happy.
happy? Okay.
Not,
All right.
Not the way that I like to build websites.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on, Brett. You don't want to just do a 45-minute time box for everything you do?
No.
Imagine the
Yeah.
revenue you could add.
Yeah, right. Guys, this is great. We're gonna give you guys like a 1-minute breather,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna be time to present. This
Five-
was really cool.
Come back at the hour, and then we will kick off presentations.
Yeah, we'll give him a 4-minute breather. Brett's like, I'm out. It's stressful. Henrik, you wanna take a breather real quick, man? We'll put you back in the backstage.
His adrenaline's still going. He's like, no.
Yeah, he's locked in.
Hey, yeah. Oh man.
Give him a sec.
That's wild. I am impressed. Hey, I truly, anyone who has something to say about the work that was produced or the people participating or the judges and the criteria that we're doing our best to figure this out, I encourage you to try this out on either side. It's difficult, but it is especially difficult on the participation end. 45 minutes, man, it's crazy.
That was fast. Yeah.
It
Good
is
job to both of them.
indeed
Mhm.
difficult.
I mean, listen, like I'm in the AI space very close, messing with these tools daily. And there were even like little things in there that I was like, that's an interesting way to use that. I think it's very like Tom, I truly want to be a fly on the wall and watch the way you use certain tools one day. And I love just being able to see how Henrik was using it at Lovable.
Yeah, it was cool.
This is a sausage fest, though. It is. That is accurate. And I agree.
Don't know what to do. All right. Let's do it. So I think the question here, as we get ready to put out the poll for the popular vote in the audience, I would love to see both of these pushed to staging so we can get links, share those with the general public.
Let's bring Brett and Henrik back up, and I'm going to have Brett go first in just a second. Hey, do you guys think it's possible we could get a public link for the public to check those builds out? You don't have to say yes because we didn't do that, but I know people have been asking about it, and that's interesting. Brett, I'm going to have you go first with your presentation. I'm going to ask the judges, like, let's just let them talk through his thought process. Feel free to share ideas you're proud of, things that you're thinking for things. Yeah. Where's your screen?
You want me to go now?
Go ahead, man. Jump on into that.
I mean, this is not something I'm super crazy about, but you can see I didn't even get to center my container, so it's off to the left.
Mhm.
So I'm going to narrow in the window here. I had to rebuild this component 3 times because it was actually working the entire time, but the sticky feature did not come into effect until I built out more of the page. So I wasted a bunch of time there. I was using Webflow, I think, so quick that a lot of things were not working. Bringing in images, putting in images weren't populating. I have to go resave, rename. There was a lot of things I did not account for. But I built out everything I wanted to build out. Everything works, I think. I didn't get to test anything. Nothing's mobile responsive. Didn't get to that. And didn't style these the way that I wanted to. But I think that was at like the 10-minute mark and knew I had to just blow through the remaining portion of it. So, I don't know. It's not my best work, but that was tough.
45 minutes is not easy, sir.
45 minutes is not easy. So just so everybody's aware, for those that weren't here when we gave the prompt, and as we were kind of going into the criteria. So each of these gentlemen had 4 interaction elements to choose from, and they had to build 2 of them. And that was part of our criteria here of, being able to balance out just pure design versus completedness. Brett, it looks like you chose, we've got the newsletter submission form. I see right here. So we got to see it for yourself demo form. What was your second interaction element? Just to
I went with demo form,
uh-huh.
multi-field demo form,
and the newsletter.
These, yep.
Okay, cool. Yep. Sweet. And what was your thinking behind some of the gradients that you pulled together? We saw you sauce the little logo here. We've got this made by humans tagline. Talk us through like some of the ways you're thinking about putting a cohesive style together.
I mean, I needed some sort of visual anchor. Normally in a project like this, I'm doing all this pre-work in Figma and just having the blueprint to build. I didn't want to have to do that on the fly. It wouldn't have been possible in 45 minutes. So in the hour that I had to prep for it, I built out some gradient assets and hoped that they would match the prompt. And luckily they did, or else I would have been screwed. So I wouldn't have had any visual anchors. I would have had to go into Figma. I mean, I didn't have time to really do anything in Figma other than pull assets. Yep. So I needed some sort of visual anchor. There's not a lot of supporting graphics or anything like that I would normally have on here. So I needed something that kind of pierced through, and gradients are just kind of a low-hanging fruit way of doing that. I would have liked to had a more variety of gradients in here. I was forced to reuse. Like I had more in Figma that I had built out. I didn't even have time to go pull them because I was having to compress the images to meet the 4 megabyte upload limit of Webflow, or the 30, whatever it is. So there was a lot of things around that, but yeah, I mean, I felt like it's sort of like it was my fallback. It was my kind of my last resort, was relying on some gradients to make this actually look halfway decent. So there was a lot more that I wanted to do, but that was, yeah. That's that.
All right, cool. Anything about this that you thought was especially noteworthy during the 45 minutes that was going through your head outside of these? Because I think it was interesting for everybody to watch you put this together in Webflow, especially pulling in the images. What did you use to generate these images?
Use Midjourney for the robot images. I actually based the style off of the Tesla robot. Brought them into Photoshop, color selected the color accent on it, and adapted it to what my gradients would be. So there's some continuity between them. So yeah, that basically Midjourney.
Cool. Any other comments you want to add to the presentation overall here?
Other than I'm announcing my retirement after this, no. No.
Hey man, I thought you did great. I wouldn't kick yourself too hard. It is a 45-minute thing, and I want to hear now from Henrik in your line of thinking, because you were all over the place.
Yes. So it went incredibly horrible for me. I think it is that some of these 21st dev components, they kind of like mess up the code so that other edits doesn't really work as they should do. And I hadn't tested this component, so yeah, so that kind of messed it up. But I'll show you the website. So yeah, it's this 3D robot, and then it's kind of timeline thing.
Yep.
And then I added some other things, but the styling kind of broke, and I ended up removing it. And yeah, but yeah, so I've done a couple of test runs, and for all those test runs, it has gone really well. Like I can show you one of the last website that I built.
Well, let's stay back on what you built here, and because I'm curious, I want to know. You were prompting around. What was the thought process you had going into some of this once you saw the challenge?
Yeah, so as you maybe saw, I started with doing a bunch of different tabs and making the same prompt into every tab in Lovable, because like the AI can sometimes be unpredictable. Like sometimes work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it ends up not working. So I just made the same prompt in multiple windows and just picked the ones that where it looked the best. And then for the design, I went with this robot, which ended up not really flowing with everything else. And and I didn't really manage to think about the strategy, like the design, too much, because everything was breaking because of this component. But yeah.
Was there any interactions challenges that we gave? Were there any that you tried to focus on or were able to get to? I didn't see.
I did connect Supabase, but I never added the form so that you could actually sign up. But I did connect Supabase so that like if it would work, I would just be able to add like a newsletter sign up in probably one prompt.
What of the components you pulled, which one do you think integrated really well? It looks like that timeline was interesting. I want to see that a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that one was the one that looked the best. But the text also here broke.
Where did you get these images?
I think those were, I think the AI came up with them, or it was they came with this.
Oh, they came with the component. Got it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It's interesting to me how much you guys diverged in terms of the stories that you were trying to tell with the site. Even off of the same prompt. It's pretty interesting. Henrik, as you were kind of going through this over the last 45 minutes, what were the standout things to you about putting this together in Lovable? We watched a lot of what you did. You had a lot of really interesting approaches of pulling stuff from 21st.dev. We saw you playing with the visual editor here and there. What stood out to you is kind of, any big lessons learned or things challenges you ran into throughout the build?
If I did it again, I would probably not use components at all. I think the AI is better at just if you have a clear vision in your mind and you want to build that, I think it's better to just go with the manually prompt it instead of trying to use components.
Do you think that those were adding too much context to the prompt body, so they were slowing you down?
Yeah, and when you let the AI build everything, then it builds everything in the way that it's supposed to be built. But if you use components, then some of the components are not built. Like the code for components are not optimized for Lovable.
Okay.
So yeah.
Or for each other.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Interesting. When you were kind of using your hour, it looks like Brett was able to get in there and generate some images with Midjourney. I think you chose to use your time to find some pretty spicy elements to pull in from 21st.dev. Are you saying that some of the issue here was kind of taking those 21st.dev components and then Lovable trying to fit them into the Vite and the framework there?
Yeah, that was the main issue for this build.
Sweet.
Interesting. Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, let's get into our judging phase. Hunter, you care if I post this poll?
No, post away, sir. Post away.
All right. If you go to my Twitter, DesignerTom _ is my username. You will see the public poll is live. I'd like to hear your votes. It will close, or we will wrap it as soon as this judging moment is over. So it's open for 15 minutes. I'm going to judge first. Let's see. Can we pull up your screen just to have the visual reference again? We'll keep it right here. Now, I'll tell you there are 4 categories. There's design quality, execution quality, interactive quality, and strategic approach. All right. For design quality, I gave this an 11 out of a total 25 points. I thought the layout and visual hierarchy was pretty good. Room for improvement, but still pretty good, all things considered. I mean, that's one thing I think you really had control over in Webflow, and It's funny how important that is if you can manipulate it at the individual level versus having to do it with an AI editor. The visual polish here I think is pretty good. I like your gradient use. I like how you brought things together. There are certain things like the white text on top of those lighter gradients that I'm deducting points for. I feel like the shapes aren't necessarily cohesive, so I deducted some points for that. The creative differentiation, I think, is here, and I know you, Brett, with more time, these would evolve further. I think this is a really visually creative thing that a little bit more time in the oven would have came out really great. It looks okay now, but so I gave that a little bit of a lower score. Executions of 13. I thought you realized the build challenge. Exactly. The attention to detail is clearly here in a lot of the areas that you were able to complete. So I liked that. I think the technical ambition, you weren't trying to do anything too crazy over the top. So that's okay. What you did, you executed well. The completeness of the solution. So you got through like the most of the challenge. That's a bit middle. And then the transitions, because it's Webflow, they look good out of the box. So you scored high there. The rest of this for the interactive quality, the interactions that you put together, I thought you did well with this challenge. I give you a 13. And then strategic approach, the way you manage scope, I thought this was your strongest area. I know you're kicking yourself, but I think what you did do here was with 45 minutes, you did kind of master like not getting stuck. The fact that you got so far with all these ideas, and I know you wish they were more completed, but I'm giving you credit for that because I thought this wouldn't even be as far as you got this without good scope management. And I thought you did well with that. So yeah. So I've got you at 41 points out of a 100 score. So well done. Henrik, let's pull you up.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Design quality. There were things I thought you did really well out the gate in this kind of visual part. You were bringing in the components. That was working to your benefit visually. You're using, I think this is one of the gradients we provided in the media assets, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought you used it well. And it sucks to hear that this robot component was giving you such a headache because I did think this was clever. And if it wasn't giving you all those problems, I bet you could have done some more interesting things with this. But overall, you are behind on design quality, but you're still up there at a 10, a score. There's a lot of little things that this needed to benefit from that it didn't. Like if we scroll down a bit, right? If you can scroll down on this page here for me, I appreciate that. Yeah. So a little bit basic. We're using images that aren't, within the context. Again, totally understand why this happened. The timeline, I think, is the most compelling visual part of this. So I like that a lot. Wish we had some updated images. With execution quality, I give you a 9. I thought you were heading in the right direction for the realizing the build challenge, and your attention to detail, I know you were trying it, was a little bit lacking in this. I thought the technical ambition was there. Like you were definitely trying to do some interesting things with the help of these components and some of the other areas. You didn't quite nail it, but I gave you a +1 on that. The completeness of the solution, as you know, not there. So we scored low there. Interactive quality, I'm not going to touch too much on this. We weren't able to get to those. I gave you about a 4 because there are still some animations with this timeline that are nice, but everything else, you just really didn't get to the challenge. And then the strategic approach, again, your scope management, kind of rough. And I, again, understand why. Your challenge interpretation was totally here. I think that you completely understood that, and it was coming together in this. I liked this. I liked where the storytelling was trying to go, but the execution was a little bit lacking. So overall, Henrik, 34 for you. Brett, a 41. My vote goes to Brett.
Cool. Let's go with Tom, and I'll come in last.
All right. We'll go to Brett if you want to pull that up. Do you want to pull up Brett's screen?
Yeah, I want to call this out real quick. I've been seeing this guy lurking around in here. None of the judges had any action on Polymarket. So whoever this is,
someone's saying that we bet on this. I did not have. I didn't.
Yeah,
know
I don't
it was.
really have tolerance for dumbass anonymous accounts.
Yeah.
But none of us had any action. We've been in contact with the CEO, so you can fuck right off.
Agreed. Concur. Move on. Is this the screen you want up here, Tom?
No, I was for Brett.
Oh, I apologize.
Cool. The design itself.
Where's that at? Oh, Brett,
Can
you got to share your
screen
screen
one more
again.
time for us.
Sorry, bud.
All right. So for design quality, I gave you a 10. I feel like there was some decent hierarchy going on here, but nothing like really pushed over the edge there. A lot of the headings and stuff like that were very similar, so I wasn't really drawn down the page. I feel like this key line you have here with the two specs, like that was more of that detail would have happened over time. I didn't mind your typography, but wanted a little bit more variation in there. Again, this is also that would have happened with a little bit more time. And then in differentiation, I feel like if you had more time to push the gradients like you had talked about in your presentation, you could have made it really unique. But it just wasn't. It wasn't quite something where it's just a lot of gradients, and that in and of itself is not like super differentiated. I think you kind of mentioned some of that stuff in your presentation. On execution quality, I gave you 13. I feel like you did approach the build challenge pretty well. I feel like you knew what you were looking for. You had some decent attention to detail, like the icons you brought in, and you had the assets ready with we did the color correction for the robots in Photoshop to make them match the gradients. We called that out in the stream. That's pretty good attention to detail there. Something I probably wouldn't even thought of to do in the time you had. And then the completeness of the solution, like it felt pretty close to something that could be complete. Like I don't know how many more hours you would need to put on this, probably a lot more, but like this could be a shippable first version of a site if someone really needed something like, hey, today we need something going on. Like you even had the form with some completed states there, which is pretty good. For interactive quality, I gave you a 10. The transition you have with the stacking sticky was cool, but that was kind of the only place that I saw any of that kind of stuff. So it wasn't like all over the place. There wasn't interactive details as you scrolled into each section. There wasn't anything that really drew the eye. That was cool, but if that could have been continued more with more time, obviously, that would have been pretty legit. I feel like it was technical ambition. There wasn't anything that like you tried to do that was like, wow, how was he going to do that in 45 minutes? It was all, kind of good stuff that you knew Webflow was capable of, playing within the boundaries of what it could do. I was curious to see if you were going to go with like the interactions panel to like try to do anything over the top with it. And I totally understand why you didn't. I don't think I would have, but cool to see that. And then it was pretty complete, complete enough, I think, for a first cut revision. I know that it doesn't seem like you would want to present this to a client, but you could at least start having that conversation. Interactive quality, I gave you a 10. There were some good transitions in there, like I mentioned. You had the form, so you were actually responsive to like a user interacted with the site, but there wasn't like a ton of stuff going on there. There wasn't like menus or hover states or anything like that, unless there were, and I didn't see them. Yeah, that was, and then strategic approach, I gave you a 15. I feel like you did a pretty good job planning for this. You had those assets in place. You created some stuff in Midjourney. You had I think the logo was something that wasn't provided for you. Is that right? Like the logo for the
logo was not provided.
Logo
correct.
was not provided.
Yeah.
So that was good, to throw that in there. That feels like an actual logo. And I think you went about it in a really good way. Like the order of operations that you went down the page was pretty, in line with what I would expect. So I feel like you did a good job there. And I feel like you managed your time pretty well. 45 minutes is crazy.
Very good. All right. And so that means your vote goes to.
Do you want me to go through Henrik or I don't.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Go to Henrik. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Henrik. Yeah.
I'm updating the judging cards here as we're talking. I apologize.
That's right. So yeah, Brett got a total score from me for 48.
Awesome.
All right. Henrik, for design quality, I gave you an 8. Layout and visual hierarchy, I don't feel like it was quite there yet. Like there's some stuff like this title is super close to the top of the page. It's not guiding me down the page. The clipping elements, like this robot being kind of cut off halfway, it's not making me do anything with it. It just kind of makes me center on the hero panel. So I wanted to see a little bit more with that. Typography and color choices are fine. There's some blue gradients going on there. It was about the same feedback I had for Brett. Like I would have liked to seen that carried a little bit further on. Visual polish and detail. It feels like the context window being exceeded was something that was really having a hard time there. But there was also some like fonts that were rendering dark on a dark background, and some like the check icons were just the standard emojis. I would have liked to see those like as custom icons. Execution quality, I gave you an 8. I feel like there was quite a bit of missing attention to detail just because of the limitations you ran into. But there was like, if you could have styled those fonts to not be black on the white background, or if they could have been white on the black background, that would have gone a long way, because it just kind of is glaring, obviously unreadable text. And the solution overall just didn't feel super complete. Like there was no footer or anything like that. I don't feel like I could do anything with the website. I mean, I'm cool. It's cool that you added Subabase as the integration, but there's also no form for me to interact with that. So I would have liked to see something along those lines. As far as the interactive quality, there was some more interaction stuff when you were doing the work that didn't end up in the final version. I would have liked to see some more of that. You have this kind of tie-in with the cursor being followed with the gradient. Like if you could have pushed that further down the page, tied it in more ways, I feel like that would have been cool. But it seemed like it was too baked into the component that you brought in, and that was causing issues. So wasn't quite there. And then as far as strategic approach, I gave you a 9. I feel like the scope got out of hand. I feel like it was a lot of things that you brought in, and understandably like hadn't validated them that they worked together, because you didn't have the prompt beforehand. But it was goes to Brett.
Goes to Brett. There we go. All right. And then I want Hunter's vote. Before we do, just one more shout out to Paper.design and Contra. Paper.design, the next gen design tool for designers, and Contra, the new marketplace for modern creatives. Thanks for making this happen, guys. This is crazy. Crazy bet. Crazy vote here on Twitter already. I'll bet I'll go over. Why don't you get in there, Hunter? What do you got?
I'm gonna start with Brett as well. Let me pop him up there. Can we turn down the music just a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go up to the top here. I think a couple things I want to call out real quick. First, because I know as soon as we get through this, we get to my vote and the popular vote, everybody's gonna tune out. So I just want to say, both of you guys fucking crushed this. I mean, the fact that this came together, you had 45 minutes. We got to see Brett actually put down style and Webflow, go at this. Henrik, the amount of things that you were able to pull together in Lovable was fucking great. Like really, really impressed with this. This mattress guy, again, anonymous accounts, fuck right off. But anyways, so want to go over this just so everybody knows too, because we didn't get through this, but we did have the prompt shared ahead of time, as well as the judging criteria. So everything's been pretty well baked out as we've gone through the judging criteria that Tommy and Tom have both shown. All that stuff lives right here. So we've been pretty thorough in terms of how we scored everything. So just want to make sure that everybody knows that a lot of hard work went into judging this. So as people are kind of going back and forth about who won or who didn't win, calm down. So I think, Brett, if we can scroll to the top, my man. I like these cards. These cards are cool. I think for me, the first thing that I want to call out is just adherence to the rules, right? So the very first thing off the bat that we called out was, here are the 4 interaction components that we need, right? Brett, we said that, we needed to have 2 of them. Brett, you got both of them done, right? Which was really important. Is just when we're thinking about how the score relates to the overall adherence to the challenge, you were able to stick to that really well. So design quality, I scored a 14 overall. I actually gave 2 points for exceptional work. Whereas I think Tommy and Tom didn't. If we scroll down to the big H2 text section, the thing that I really enjoyed was when you were putting the gradients in there, just wrapping the text there. So I gave points to that for some exceptional work. I just like seeing that happen. I like that attention to detail instead of just doing the black text. So yeah, design quality overall scored a 14. Execution quality, I also came in with a 14. I think you realized the build challenge really well. Really good attention to detail across the board, even as you're kind of presenting your work and talking specifically about the things that you felt you missed out on. I feel like you really accounted for those things. Interactive quality, I went with a 12. It was nice to see the smooth transitions for the cards appear there. I think that definitely got some points. I think across the board, kind of seeing how you were building things out, gained some points for me in terms of thoughtful interactive states. I gave you 3 points for that. Same with responsiveness to user actions. I gave you 3 points. Strategic approach, I took a 16 here. So like both of my Toms here, really thought you stuck to the scope management. I think with the time that you had, you used it really, really well in Webflow. I think you prioritized the right features for the experience, interpreted the challenge really well. And above all else, man, I just feel like you're really efficient with the time that you had. I think, again, 45 minutes in Webflow, manually building out the gradients, the forms, the classes, everything here. I thought that was really, really impressive. So that's how I scored those things. And then if we can go over to Henrik, if you'll pull your stuff back up for me. Dude, Henrik, man, I got to say, you're not a designer, you're a marketer. And seeing the stuff that you're able to pull together here, I'm fucking impressed, man. And I saw some people say this in the chat, and I don't know if I knew this or didn't know this. Are you 19 years old? Or is that just some bullshit?
I am.
That's fucking crazy. So the fact that you're in here doing this at 19, like Tommy and I are old. I have a 16-year-old dude.
Yeah.
Like this is wild. So man, I just want to say kudos to you. This is sick that you're doing this and love the journey that you're on with Lovable, man. So in terms of design quality, I came in at a 9. I think where you got hurt was the thing that you identified the most, which was that you were pulling a lot from 21st Dev, and that was getting in your way of thinking through how you wanted to go section by section to correctly interpret everything. I think using a lot of that 21st Dev was a great idea. And I definitely gave you a lot of points later on in terms of interactivity with the robot and stuff like that. But I think you're right with your gut saying like, hey, if I just let Lovable do this and I built this out myself, you would have done a lot better. So gave you 9 for overall design quality, also gave you 9 in terms of execution quality. Same reasons apply, right? I think, again, all the 21st.dev stuff, not letting Lovable cook, it just introduced a lot of complexity that got in your way. So I think that one, kind of cost you some points there. Specifically, I think you didn't get the full points because we were missing the 2 required interaction things. But I want to call out that I think it's also cool that you did get things connected to Supabase. We just weren't able to actually realize that and have the forms to pass the data. So I think that's a piece there that's pretty important to call out. In terms of interactive quality, I don't know, man. I think Tommy and Tom are high. I actually gave you a lot more points than they did in terms of interactive quality. Even though it's still 21st.dev, again, I'm going to say that. I love that you were like, I'm going to rip in this interactive robot that follows the cursor. I thought that was really cool overall. So to me, that was really special. Lee, I think you spent a lot of my career doing this. And then overall, in terms of strategic approach, I gave you 9 points. So I think that you got hurt the most again in scope management. Being more thoughtful about how to build out the sections, make sure that you prioritize time for those 2 required interactive elements, I think would have been really nice to see. So I kind of had to deduct some points there in terms of time management. So overall, I actually had Brett at a 56 and I had Henrik at 34 points going to Brett. So I think it's official. In terms of the judges panel, Brett's the winner. Looking here at Tommy's poll, Brett, you took the popular vote as well. So it seems like humans live to fight another day, thankfully. But again, before we move on, Henrik, you're a fucking stud, man. 19 years old, doing this, getting in here, constructing everything the way you did, man. I'm honestly, if I was a Lovable team, I'd be proud as fuck of you, man. I think this is awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. This
Can I
is
say something?
not easy. Do it.
Yeah, go ahead, Brett.
Yeah. So when this whole thing came to be, I posed the challenge to Henrik on Twitter, fully expecting him not to accept the challenge whatsoever. It was honestly probably more of a joke than anything. And the fact that he accepted really without hesitation and showed up today and did this, mad respect. I have no clue what you're doing in Lovable. I don't know the tool. It's way over my head. But the fact that you had the guts to show up and do this, I know you haven't even been at Lovable that long, was huge. And I know this is not something either of us do every day in this type of environment. So huge respect overall.
Yeah, it was super fun to be here. I thought it was going to go better, but like either way, it's,
You represent so well, man. You represented so well.
yeah.
I think so for sure. I'm excited, man. Henrik, I got to ask you this, dude.
That's true, Brett.
What's next for you at Lovable, dude?
What's next? In what way?
Yeah. Like, what are you up to next at Lovable? What are you guys plotting over there that we can see from you soon?
We'll keep shipping features. We added the code viewer today,
I saw that.
and
Yeah.
much more to come.
Very
Sweet.
cool.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Tommy, where are we going now? We got 38,000 people tuned in. This is just crazy. What's the next thing? Do we visually? Here we go. Brett, I think Brett, wife and kids, got some balloons. Look at that.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Do that.
That's what I'm talking about. You've got the yellow smiley face balloons. Is that what I see?
She
That's
must have
all
known.
That is fantastic. Awesome
So
awesome
funny.
support system over there.
Cool.
And I know the Lovable team's doing the same. Hey, that's the show, guys. And I just want to say to everybody, this is not the last time we're going to be doing these build wars. This was fun to see it happen organically, and to see how many other people want to get in this ring is exciting. I want feedback both from Brett, Henrik. What would make this a more compelling contest for you guys and the audience? I'm sure we're going to hear a lot from you guys, but please let us know, what would be more interesting to see. I want to see Framer. I want to see Ben Frick with motion tools. I want to see some mid-journey branding competitions.
Here's what I want to know. Brett, are you ready to go double or nothing and go head to head against Framer next?
Hey.
Probably not.
So probably not.
Why not? No. I think the most challenging part will be coming up. Who is the proper competitor against Framer? I think that'd be tough. I think they win. I think they win it all. In terms of landing page design, obviously, if we were designing a SaaS product, then Henrik would have smoked me today. So it's all context. But yeah, I think Framer is the one to beat. I think.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I have to say, Tommy and Hunter and Tom, thanks for putting all this on. This was way exceeded my expectations in terms of the structure of it, the thought process that went into all the messages back and forth the last couple of weeks. Knocked it out of the park. The prompt, I was a little scared of what that would be. I don't think Henry and I both knew what even the format was going to be or what was included in that. I thought that was done so well. So overall, like 100%, great job.
I
agree.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
All right.
Cool.
Well, we're going to wrap it. And thanks for tuning in, guys. This is a really fun event. Stay tuned. Every Friday, we go live. We announce it all through our newsletters, UX Tools, and Today in Design. We do this stuff all the time. So come check us out, subscribe, say hello, and call us names. We like that too. So
Yeah. Yep. Perfect.
All right.
Sweet.
We'll see you guys.
See you guys.
Thank you.